it's about getting into schools and talking to young people, because, you know, I know that people can change. And it's about talking to people and getting them to understand and perhaps step back from violence and prejudice and whatever. And we just need to work together and keep on the good fight there.
Absolutely. Hey there, guys. We are ecstatically happy to announce that we are associated with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
The times are changing, and with the unfortunate death of Sophie, those changes have made a massive impact for the future. If Sophie was with us still today, I can guarantee what you are doing will still be reaching so many lives of young teenagers, young adults, and those who wish to be as different as possible. So thank you very much.
To find out more about this incredible foundation and all the work they do, and more importantly, how you can help, head on over to www.sophielancasterfoundation.com.
Hey, honey bunny, it's Rivka Reyes.
This is Ron Wasserman, the nut that wrote Go-Go Power Rangers.
I'm Noel McNeil, and once upon a time, I was a bear in a big blue house.
It's Rab himself.
Paul Rugg, the voice of Freakazoid, and you're listening to the Chronicles of Podcast with Tom and Jamie.
What's going on, guys? It's the 66th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast, and you might have been like, why did he clap? Why is it not the double wave? Game show wave, ladies and gentlemen. Game show wave. Game show smiles and game show waves. Welcome to the Chronicles of, Jamie. Was it Graham Humphreys?
It was indeed.
Lovely. Excellent. Do you know what I'll do then? Is I'll get this car back on the road and we'll get started, shall we?
I think we definitely should.
Hit it!
This is Graham Humphreys, freelance illustrator, purveyor of horror to the home entertainment industry, and I am on the Chronicles of Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 66th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. And these are the Chronicles of Graham Humphreys. It is I, the bearded brummy Jamie, and joining me, as always, is this handsome bugger over here.
What's going on? It's the Scotsman Tom. Jamie again. I don't know what your these is. I can't work it out.
We've established you're not a Harry Potter fan, so you probably wouldn't get that one.
No.
You know why I went idea. Harry Potter? It's just the first tune that popped to my head.
I don't even know why you sang it again. Because I was like, didn't get it the first time, definitely not going to get it the second. So
well, maybe the tune and not saying these might have made it a bit more obvious for you. But there we go.
I don't watch Harry Potter, so I have no idea. So many people come at me now, aren't they? And you mean you watch Harry Potter? Harry Potter? Well, because I don't like it. Is that all right with you?
Because I'm not interested in 13-year-old wizard boys. Okay, Karen.
It just makes me. I don't. Again, it comes right back around to that conversation every single time, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
I just don't like it. I don't want to. I don't want to watch it. I'm not interested. I don't care how fucking wonderful it is. I just don't care.
No one's going to make it, Tom. You're fine. Don't worry.
Exactly. Jamie, when people come over for the first time, what exactly is etiquette TV?
Oh, that's a really good... This is great. Sorry, carry on.
Because Harris brought a mate over and I was sat... She went out for some drinks because she got randomly invited out of nowhere. And I was just chilling watching TV. I think I was watching WWE. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to bring my friend over. And I was like, oh, okay, shit. So it's weird if I put music channels on by myself because that's just odd because I'm having a party on my own. So I was like, Simpsons, I guess. So Simpsons went straight on. Like, could you class that as etiquette TV when people come over for the first time ever when you've never met them?
It could work. It's a wholesome TV show that everyone loves. No one dislikes The Simpsons.
Yeah. It's almost like you don't know where to put yourself, don't you think?
I completely agree. This is one thing that has always bothered me about having people come over. I don't like quiet. I like to have background noise of some type. But I feel like if I'm putting music on, if it's not loud enough, you can't hear it. And if then it's too loud, people can't talk. And TV, you go like, what do I put on? Because no one's actually going to watch it. So you don't want to put something on that people want to pay attention to. But like I say, what is good background TV? And I get way too in my head about it. And then it just ruins the night for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I bought a friend. I was like, shit. Well, like you said, you can't put a series on because then obviously we'll probably start getting too into it. And the conversation won't happen. Like, well, I want to see who murdered him, And then you're like, what? And then you realise what's going on. And you're like, oh, watching TV. But then obviously that's rude when you meet someone for the first time because obviously the whole point of meeting someone for the first time is to have a chat and get to know people and converse. So yeah, I was just curious to know what etiquette TV really is for when you have people over for the first time. But then it jumped me onto my next point that I was thinking about because it actually happened in The Simpsons, and I was like, that also is really weird. So when posh people or Tories, for example, have a conversation at a party, it always cuts to like the end of the joke, doesn't it? Or the end of the story where they're like, oh, Sheila, absolutely. You need to walk straight and then have a cigar. And then you'll go, oh, yes, how we're all laughing over cigars and cognac. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it never makes any sense. It's meant to be like really hilarious, and it's like I have no fucking clue what's going on here because it comes in right. I'd like to know what the actual joke was, if it is even a joke anyway. And then it came over to my son and was like, "Football's not your game." Oh, sip, smoke, obviously, yes.
You'd blend right in,
and he'd be like, "Like, what's going on? Like, what even is this? Is this some sort of language that we don't know about because we didn't go to Eton?" Like, is this something?
It's posh people language, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Cuban, don't you know? What is exactly? Yes, and we all had fish. You what? Sorry, you had fish? I don't get it. I don't understand what's the relation between Cuba and fish. What exactly is so hilarious about that? Oh, cough, and all that. Yes, let me put my monocle back in. Sorry. Yeah,
I love it when you go full on posh people rant. It's my favorite thing.
But I don't get it. Like I don't. It's obviously some sort of realm that we don't understand. That must be another dimension that we don't know about.
I completely agree. Like, if you're gonna tell a joke, tell it properly and tell one everyone would understand, please, not just the people of Eton and Cambridge.
Yeah, exactly. That country clubs, you don't get to come into here. No, you don't understand what grey splash is all about. Should we let him know? No, we shan't.
Oh, you wouldn't believe them over there. Their horses never even seen a trifle flopping.
Yeah, exactly. Are they German all of a sudden?
I don't know. I was like, think of a horse thing. Trifle flop.
I'm pretty sure like a German sort of party is a lot different to a British one.
Let's not talk about Germany and parties.
Oh yeah, that's it. Mein Stiffy, yeah. That's just the issue. I've just been given a German boardroom to do, and it makes me so happy just looking at all the names. The best name I saw today, was I won't give his first name because I want people to go looking him up. But Havercock is his surname. I was like, amazing. That's just made me laugh. That's the greatest surname. Oh, Havercock.
I want his first name to be open wide.
I know. There you are, Havercock. Why there? Get yourself a sign at the same time.
Or they give him out at the door.
Yeah.
Come on in, Havercock.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But finally, before we get on to the main cruxy part of the absolute wanky bollocks that we talk at the beginning, when we interviewed our guest this week, when we interviewed Graham last week, I was sat here thinking to myself, what would have happened? What would I do exactly if we were happily sat here doing the show, interviewing, whatever, and someone broke into my house and started like pillaging and raping and like started just like destroying my flat? What would Yes, when you were so last week, when you did, while he's just like destroying and like nicking everything out of my flat. What? It's just kind of crazy, isn't it? Like, have you ever had that sort of thought?
No, I know exactly what you mean. Especially when you got the house to yourself, because you're like, nope, nothing's been smashed. Okay, we're fine.
No, but I mean, literally, if I was because the door to the living room is right in front of me, so like obviously over my camera. So like if someone just walked in, and I was there going, "Oh yeah," so quaff, and I, oh, hello.
What? You've come for the TV? Okay, it's fine.
It's kind of, it's one of those, we talked about it with Molly Rennick, actually. You could go check out the Chronicles of Molly Rennick on our YouTube channel, Chronicles of Podcast, if you so wish to. But when we talked about like how you could walk over a bridge and go, I could just turn myself off this bridge. I'd die, but I could do it if I really wanted to. Do you know what I mean? I could turn my phone over there. That would never have a phone again. That's those numbers gone. It's so weird, isn't it? I can't what they call it. Is it like intrusive thoughts or something?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I do it all the time. All the time. You just think, this could happen. It won't happen, but it could happen. What would happen if?
Mark Watson, the comedian, does it as well. He talks about it in his stand-up. When he's like walking through a park, he goes, there's a guy in front of him with a suitcase, goes, I could kick this man. Or I could really kick this man. I could kick this man for a too. Or I'm going to kick him. I'm going to kick. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. I just wanted to kick you for no reason.
It's got to be something we all do, surely.
I would imagine so. It's got to be in everyone's DNA, surely.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress, Jamie.
Speaking of Molly Rennick, by the way, Living Dead Girl, go check out their cover of Fighter by Christina Aguilera. Mwah! Superb. Anyway, Karen.
Lovely. I asked you how you were, so it's technically your time to still talk.
I'm very well. I'm quite tired, but what the fuck's new there? But getting up at 4 a.m. lately for these early shifts, bit of a knacker. But yeah, other than that, I'm good.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Bless you, my friend.
A.m. What about you? You good?
I'm fine. I want to address something before we get started. Well, before we carry on, shall I say. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, there's a treat about how you can't eat anything with a plate and a spoon, right?
Yes.
And then you explained yourself and said, Claire Jones actually does do this.
Yes.
Claire Jones watched the show last week and proceeded to message me during said show. Claire Jones said this. Okay, so curry one side, rice the other. Use the side of the spoon to cut chicken and scoop. Don't mix the rice, because I like plain rice. Then I can have with the sauce, like how you eat a muller corner. And well, cake, it's on a plate, you just grab a spoon. Sorry to make you angry. Claire. So I just said to her, this has got on next week's show. That's all I said. So you didn't make me angry, necessarily. It's just odd. Why are you scooping chicken when all you can do is get a fork and go and prick it, go, oh, there we are, rather than fighting to get that chicken on the spoon, throwing it everywhere? It's just odd why you'd want to use a spoon to fucking eat curry with.
Well, that's done.
Yeah. Sauce, I understand. Sauce, I get. Chicken, I do not understand. And plus, the sauce has got to be within the rice. You've got to mix all that shit in. You can't just fucking, why are you leaving it on the side?
That was my biggest takeaway, yeah.
Flavourless rice. Oh, love me some flavourless rice on the side here, plain. Oh, yeah, lovely. Love some plain.
I've got all this lovely, delicious curry flavour, and I've got this plain, white, boring-ass rice. I'm going to leave them separate. Let's not mix them flavours, boys. Nah.
It's almost like saying, God, I love the taste of air. Oh, that air. Oh, that tastes so... Oh, I just love breathing. It just tastes so wonderful. Fucking hell, Claire Jones.
I mean, I love you to death, woman, but I don't get it. I just don't. Why would you not mix the sauce in with the rice? Isn't that why you do it? Isn't that
cake? You're too far gone now. I can't save you with the cake side of things, but curry, I can save you from.
Just no. Cake is a fork, or your goddamn hands get in the spoons.
I'm fine, thanks, mate.
And yeah. I did ask how you were, wasn't I? We went off on a tangent.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was just went off that massive tangent. I was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. No, I'm good. I'm doing really good. That France boardroom was today, and I managed to secure all of no people. I had one guy, I rang him last Friday, and he went, excuse me, you realize this is my personal phone, and I do not work on Friday? And I was like, yeah. So he goes, also, you fuckers keep ringing me every fucking day. He goes, I want you to delete my number right now. And I was like, you can't really get, like, mad at a French person. They don't sound angry. He's like, I want you to delete my phone number. Do not call me again. And I was like, yeah, no worries. That's fine. Is that all right for you there? And he was like, yeah, perfect. Thanks. See ya. But now I've got Germany.
Okay. So now you go try and convince the Germans.
Come on, have a cock. Let's just have a chat, shall we?
Come to the boardroom and you can have a cock.
But luckily, I've got Austria and Switzerland, so I'm quite excited for this one. It's,
3 different countries in one.
Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to it. Starting it today, I was like, this is going to be so much better than France. So,
how many people have you got to try and convince?
People. Same again, but nothing against French people. But, you know, They just love the French. If you're not French, you're not interested. So yeah, what have you been doing with yourself, my friend?
I have mostly been Rihanna-ing, surprisingly. I've been doing that. Bark. I started the new job, though. I started today, was my second day of the new job. But the only thing that's annoying me is my uniform still hasn't bloody turned up. So I just look like
God!
Reporter, and I want to look the part. I mean, with all the other team leaders in their nice white shirts, and I'm there in my blue looking like a commoner, and I'm not a fan. But other than that, yeah. No, it's going great.
It doesn't matter.
That's to me, all right.
I get to wear this every day.
All right. But no, it's going well. I'm picking it up quite quickly. I've had a nice meeting with my manager yesterday to find out his expectations. So yeah, it's going well. I'm actually really enjoying it. So yeah, it's going well.
Okay, so I will ask this question because I'm quite curious. So porter,
yes,
you do all the portering, you push people around, you take people here, there, and everywhere.
Yes.
So as a team leader of portering, is it just the same thing?
No, I get to say, instead of moving them, I get to say, you move them.
And stand there like, I love this. This is great.
I could walk around and go, tuck your shirt in, shine your shoes.
So you just get to delegate, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And basically make sure there's enough people in the right places and all this jazz. And yeah, just normal management stuff, innit? But no, it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be back up on the ladder. You know, I took a break away from it for quite a few years, so it's nice to be back on there. I'm enjoying it.
Good.
What else have I done? Me and the wife went out for food on Saturday, which was nice. Now, I'm going to ask a question about this. I had beef nachos. They were nice. But when you have nachos, your topping's warm, naturally. Do you think the nachos themselves should be warm or just out of a packet cold crisps?
However they come. I don't mind. I don't care. The nachos, they're great.
So I think they should be warm, and they weren't warm. Which
you know what they've done there? They've screwed you. They've just gone. You got Tesco's own. Cheers. There you go. This on there, perfect.
Oh, they were good. They were like big, chunky fuck off like nachos. They were good, but I was like, you just needed to be warm. You were close. Could have been better.
Every time I bought nachos at a restaurant, they've always come in a tiny little dish and they're like 15 quid. I'm like, yeah, no.
No. These ones are good. I enjoyed these. It's like a street food place we went to. So there's like a load of vans outside of street food, and then you sit inside what's basically a giant shed. It was I'll be honest, I fucking hate the place. The food's nice, but I hate the place.
Why?
Because it's too loud. There's too many people, and I made myself ill. So
you made yourself ill?
Well, where we were sat, the left-hand side of me was freezing cold from the door, and the right-hand side of me was roasting hot from a heat lamp. And my body just went, I don't know what to do, and just went so cold. I couldn't stop shivering all night.
Not good. Yeah, not good.
Wasn't a fan of that one. So my body just could not adjust. It was just like, no, I'm going home. I'm putting on pajamas and a big hoodie. Leave me alone. There we go. Sunday, I went to go and see the kids, which was a slightly disastrous day, but there we go. It was good fun when I got there. Seeing the kids wasn't disastrous, but it was supposed to be.
Oh, it's not the trains again.
No, not even that. It's supposed to be me, Becky, and Olivia going to see the kids. But it turns out, ever as I've mentioned on this show, I have a cat who is a complete and utter douchebag. But the cat has decided to be quite ill. So Becky had to take the cat to the vet, so they couldn't come with me, and then I was really late getting to Cheltenham because changes of bloody plans and everything, and the cat's cost us a stupid amount of money, which we'd save to buy a washing machine, so I hate the cat even more now.
There we are. Have you got insurance?
Nope. We did. But yay, lockdown. Basically, we had pet plan with a vet, and then during lockdown, the vet closed. So we had to cancel said pet plan, and then we phoned them and go, hi, can you register our cat? Sorry, we're not taking any new patients. So we had not been able to get her into a new vet. Yay. But yeah, and other than that, we did an interview the other day, which was absolutely glorious, which you're about to hear right now, ladies and gents. Well, not right now. After we've finished our utter wanky bollocks, then you'll hear it. And watching-wise, I watched the season finale of Andor. My God, that show is superb. It's not a typical Star Wars show. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like quite political in places, and it's the building of the rebellion. There's no lightsabers. There's no like proper fighting battles. It's very storage. Mwah, beautiful finale. Absolutely loved it. His hands up. He's asking for yes.
I'd love to. the Jamie review.
Yes.
Right? on absolutely every single piece of TV show you've ever watched,
Here we go.
every single song you've ever listened to, every movie you've ever seen, every magazine or comic you've ever read, every book you've ever read, any sport you've watched, any politician you've seen, anything. The Jamie review will always be, oh, superb. Absolutely. It wasn't either. It was just fucking superb. There's no explanation. Just superb.
I don't want to give spoilers.
That's fine. You could watch which you do watch The Crown. You could watch fucking Henry Kissinger. Oh, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, that show. Loved everything. You could watch a squirrel shitting for an hour. Oh, mate, absolutely amazing. That the way it like hunched up and curved, then took a shit. Fantastic. Worth the hour.
Not sure I'd spend an hour watching that, but yeah.
But you love, and you know,
I like to be positive.
You love everything.
Love everything.
Which is like you love everything, Jamie Westwood, and that's fine. You can love everything.
So what's annoying now is I'm about to tell you two other things I've watched, and I'm going to give you the same thing because they were both great. Because I've finished season 2 of 24.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. Man. Now that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I haven't started season 3 yet. I like to have a little break before I start the next.
I bet you will. Absolutely. You must be dying.
Oh yeah, I need to. But I tell you now, if I start season 3 and David Palmer is dead, I am going to rip this fucking webcam off here and beat that to death because no, he's not allowed to go. I can't beat you for making me watch it and then get upset. So I'm going to beat the webcam. But no, he better not be. But as soon as she shook his hand, I was like, there's fucking poison on her hand. There's poison things on her hand. And
do you recognise her?
Yeah, she was in season 1, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Yes, I thought she was. Yeah.
This is the beautiful thing of 24 is nobody gets left behind. It's what I love. That nothing gets left unsaid, nothing gets left unwritten. People will always come back. It's great. It's fucking amazing.
She turned up again. I was like, I know her. Why do I know her? And I went, hey, she's in Not Another Teen Movie. And then, actually, no, she's in season 1. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. And I get all, because of the way it ended, and you find out the bad guy they got isn't even the big bad guy behind this all. I'm like, oh, where's this going? And yeah, I can't wait to start season 3. So, yeah. Oh, such a good show.
I know. And I've been saying.
I know. And last but not least, the only other thing I've watched this week is I watched the Survivor Series yesterday because I felt like actually watching wrestling. So I watched Survivor Series and it was superb. All right. Okay.
The main event, I've not seen the main event yet. I've watched the 4 matches, but I've yet to see the main event. So, but thanks to BT Sport, I woke up on Sunday morning and went, oh, wonderful. Survivor 2's time, Facebook, BT Sport, boom, here's the spoiler. Oh awesome.
That's nice.
Thanks for that.
But no.
Unfollow.
I enjoyed it. It was really good. The only match that wasn't great was Ronda and Shotzi. It was all right.
Mate, but I don't even know why Ronda Rousey's a wrestler. I don't know why she's in there. I don't even know why they're bothering. Like, microphone work, terrible. In the ring, Shayna Baszler's phenomenal, but she's fucking awful.
Yeah, it was just not good. Not as bad as I'd heard it was. I'd heard everyone was shitting over it. So it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but it really wasn't great.
No, she's awful. Why? I don't know why they do it. It's like the Pauls. I don't know why they bother with them, but there we are. What do I know?
But Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. Oh, that was a good match. I enjoyed that one a lot. I very much enjoyed that match. But I watched it and I was like, yeah, I need to start watching wrestling again. It sort of got my juices flowing again. I need to... Yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. How about you? What have you been up to?
That's a really good question, Jamie, to be honest with you. We smashed through. We watched I'm a Celebrity, obviously. But I just think that the whole thing was just an absolute farce. The whole Matt Hancock thing is an absolute farce. And for the people that are like, oh, but you got to see a real side of it. No, fuck off, get in the bin.
No, you didn't. No,
it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy. So we'll win the nation back over after all the people I killed with COVID. So we watched that. Karis was very happy at the winner. I also watched Survivor Series. I've still got the main event to go. Enjoying it. So I can't say I've been paying much attention, but I've had it on.
One of them, yeah.
I don't know, just like oh, we'll bring the War Games matches to the main roster. All right, but you've pretty much done them. You've pretty much done them. So it's like, what can you really do? The women's, I hardly watched. I don't know. I was like, you've done it. What? Yeah, stop doing it. I'm hoping that was one of McMahon's things that have now hopefully will disappear next year. What have I done? I'm on the final episode of Final Space. I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
You got to watch it at some point.
After how the penultimate episode went, I was like, I don't want to watch the final. I don't want to watch the finale. Like, please don't make me watch the finale. It's so good.
Please don't make you.
I can't stress to you how good that show is. It's not going to be on 24's level, obviously, but the story writing and the way they've done it is just like, I don't know if my emotions can cope with the third series. I don't know if I can cope with the final episode. It's like, fuck me. That's been great. I've been watching Disenchantment again, trying to get back into that because I watched it, stopped for ages. So been watching that.
Never actually watched that.
Yeah, if you love Simpsons and Futurama, you're in for an absolute treat. It is great in that sense. But yeah, man. When did we last record? Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday.
I've been Rihannaing, obviously. Saturday, we went to visit my father. We went down to my sister's house. It's my dad's birthday was on Sunday. So we went down to my sister's house and we had like Christmas, like swap over and that sort of thing. And just like hung out, had some food. I saw my brother. That's my brother for fucking ages. And we were just laughing at some YouTube videos, which I can't go into detail, so I'll tell you about them afterwards. So we did that. That was great. Then we went to my mum and saw her I was only meant to see my mum for like an hour. We went 2.5, 3 hours later. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'll probably go home. But then like, Keris has to drive back in like the worst storm ever. It was awful. The rain and the wind was so bad. And coming over the bridge, she was like being blown. Oh my God, it was awful. And then Sunday did fuck all, watched NFL as always, just chilled. Really, it's been lush, just been like proper chilling out. And then we did a great interview, like you said, on Friday night. And it's been Rihanna, that's literally, my friend. Not a whole fat lot's really happened. Just been did a lot of work.
Yeah, it's been a quiet one this week. Not really.
Yeah, it's not been very eventful.
But it's okay to have quiet weeks. It's okay to have quiet weeks.
This is very true.
Before we move on, I did see today there was an announcement from our friends at the Bloodstock Festival. They've announced 2 more bands, the final headliner and the sub-headliner. Is that the right word? Yeah,
I'd say so.
We'll go with that one. Headlining the second day is Meshuggah. Do you know much Meshuggah? I don't really know them. I know the name, but I don't really know them.
Nope, no idea.
And the other band is Halloween. Halloween are fantastic. If I get to hear I Want Out live, I'll be a very happy man. So I'm looking forward to seeing Halloween if we can make it. No. Let's put it this way. They are one of Chris Jericho's biggest influences to why he started Fozzy. He loves Halloween.
Okay.
Pretty certain that's where he got the name Walls of Jericho from, was a Halloween album.
I'm pretty sure I heard something about that as well.
Yeah, so I look forward to that. But I want some more band announcements, Vicky and co. Come on, give us more.
Obviously, the Dowler Festival they've got their big 20th anniversary, so they're still going strong as well. There was the 2000 Trees announcement with 100 Reasons and Rival Schools back. Which is I loved 100 Reasons when I was younger. The Ideas About My Station album is absolutely out of this world. So the 2000 Trees announcement was like, okay. And Slam Dunk, I don't think they've had any more recently, but they've announced they're going to Italy and France, and they've already sold out their early birds. So, incredible. Get on that festival hype. Get on that festival train next year, guys. It's going to be a big year, 2023. Yeah. Big. Literally, I can't emphasize the big enough. So, while we're on the subject, sorry.
I was going to say, I've had Harrison message me saying that he wants to go to Slam Dunk because he wants to see the Offspring and Bowling for Soup.
Yeah, it'd be good. And I think Offspring, I can't imagine they've got much left in them.
Nah, probably not. No, they've been going quite a while.
So I definitely got on that train. But while we're talking of big things, we should hear from our man, Big Braden at Steakhouse Clothing.
Come on, Big Braden.
All right, is this thing on? Well, howdy doody, everybody. This is Braden Berry from Say We Can Fly, founder of Stay Cozy Clothing, your one-stop shop for the coziest, most fashionable hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Gosh, Mickey.
That's right, folks. And we're proud to say that we are now sponsoring
The Chronicles of Podcast. Ouch.
Hosted by Tom and Jamie.
Like, you can get 10% off, man. That's right, Shaggy. Just use the special code, The Chronicles, at checkout.
Oh, boys.
Forever will be the greatest advert of all time.
All time.
But Jamie, I do believe it's time for your favourite segment of the week.
Oh, yes, it is. Bring on that handsome mustache man.
Time for Callum's Treachings.
Here it is.
Do you want to know something? Callum will be able to tell you in Callum's Treachings.
Is cereal soup?
Ooh.
The man is back. Treaching the nation, the universe. I should have said the world second and the universe last, and I really ruined that, didn't I? So, the universe, the world. It's not really has the same ring to it, does it? Because it's kind of like massive and small. But Jamie, let's begin, shall we? As we begin, what is Callum treating us this week?
The ad for the first coloured TV must have been in black and white.
Ah!
Wow. Yeah. That's insane.
Shit, yeah. You advertise that?
I don't know. Did they have adverts back then? Adverts must have been a massive.
It must have been.
Like, you'll see reds, blues, greens, and yellows.
Remember that thing you've seen at the cinema? Because I'm pretty certain they probably had it at the cinema. Well, you're going to see it at home. We just can't show you how it's going to look.
Can you imagine they're like painted away? They're like, oh, look at that lovely blue. Yes, it's so blue. It's wonderfully blue. It's like, oh, yeah, sorry, you can't see it at home. This is like a navy. It's got sort of like a tinge of aqua in there, but it's definitely blue, all right?
But if you brought this brand new TV, you could see what the hell I'm on about. Come on down to JVC.
You can see exactly what this looks like. Get your box, 5-inch box right now. £500. Yeah.
I'm going to look on
Would have been
YouTube.
like a quid back then.
Probably would have been, yeah. I'm going to look on YouTube. If I can find the advert for the first coloured TV, I'm going to put it in because I want to see it.
Amazing, yeah. But they'd be like, oh, yeah, right. It's blue. It's me. But you want to see it at home? You have to see it in the cinema. Yeah, right. Yes, lovely. Yeah, right. That's what they sounded like back then, didn't they? With the weird adverts they did back in the day. I think from watching John Oliver, there's been so many where every time he does an advert from like the 50s or 60s, like, and you'll see us, Harry, walking down here. Yeah. Lovely. As he's there, looking like a saint. Yes, great. Lovely stuff. Wearing a beautiful pink. Well, it's pink here, which basically it's like a lilac-y light pink, okay?
Us rich, posh people, we will see it in pink. You poor fuckers, you'll never afford one of these.
But yeah, it was always the really British man, the most British man ever doing adverts back in the day.
It really was. Now I'm thinking about all the old school adverts. It really was.
Yeah, and it's always black, and it's always really horribly cut. And I don't know. I didn't live back then, so I have no idea what turmoils I had to live with the editing and whatnot. So there we go, Jamie.
Yes, sir.
What else is Callum treating us this week?
There's a whole generation of kids who've never heard the dial-up tone.
Wow.
Holy fuck. That's a noise I will never be able to wipe from my memory.
All that reminds me of is, get out the fucking internet, there's a phone! That's all I remember.
I mean, this long-ass cable traipsing across the...
Yeah.
Plug into the fucking
Can you plug internet in? Can you just plug internet in, please? Plug it in. Can you plug it in? To use that that weird Ethernet cable type thing. Internet cable. It's always yellow or purple for some weird reason. Then we pick up the phone like
yeah.
Like,
The internet's deafening me.
Hello, TV static.
Oh, a horrible noise.
Bing, 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 bing.
It's such a vile noise.
That's awful. Why do you have to do that? I don't get it.
It need to be that noise, no.
Then I've been, oh yes, hello, lovely. Well, you're connecting to the internet, yes. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll be with you in 10 minutes, just boosting up the modem and the RAM and whatever else. I normally do TV adverts, don't you know? So doing the internet dial-up means that...
While I'm doing this, just ask your grandma. She probably remembers me from selling TVs back in the 50s.
Yeah. Hopefully you've got your SDD disc and your graphics card at about 50 RAM, yes. Quite. I remember I used to play Goosebumps on the computer back in the day, and it used to scare the shit out of me. But I could never get away from the werewolf.
Never played it, but
yeah, to listen to what she said and you had to guess if it was left, right, or middle. I was like, I used to hate doing it, and then eventually I worked it out. It was a great game. It's literally like real people. Like I filmed it and everything. It was all done by real people, and then you just had to it was like an RPG, but a really old school one. And it's like you walk into. Oh, it was so awesome, but fuck me, it's scary as shit.
I love that. That's what we classed as a great game in the 90s. You had to go left, right, or forward. Other than that.
Well, that was just one of the games. That was just one. There was you can actually click and go place to go to there's the vampire as well in this massive castle and stuff like that. It was sick. It was so I can't remember which one it was. Welcome to something. I think I'm going to try and find it now because that was a great game. I loved
games were on a CD-ROM.
Oh yeah, the CD-ROM, Monkey Island and Broken Sword. Oh, magnifique, sir. Did you ever play Broken Sword?
No, I didn't play Broken Sword.
On Monkey Island?
I think I played Monkey Island. I don't think I played it much. I don't remember it, but I'm pretty certain I played it. I played it at someone else's house or something. But
and Command and Conquer. Oh.
I remember Command and Conquer. Yes!
Command and Conquer Red Alert I've got it on this laptop right here. Sick as fuck.
I remember mate Gaz claiming he was in the magazines because he was such a good player. You were talking shit, Gaz, and we all knew it. But still, that's what we did when we were teenagers.
What a shock.
I remember getting Quake 2 off my nan, this giant cardboard box of a game. You open it up, and it's got a tiny CD case and a book and a whole lot of empty space in the box.
I miss the books they used to put in games. You know, they're probably they were great. They used to do that. And I used to buying the complete guides as well and keeping them. I used to have Final Fantasy ones, and I destroyed them because I was younger, and they got ruined. Gutted. But I bought the Final Fantasy 15 Special Edition one, complete book. It's lush, so nice. Amazing. Those were the days, man. Things were so great before TikTok and Facebook and shit.
You didn't need to work out how to play a game. You could just read a book that told you how to do everything.
Yeah,
it's still
difficult. It's so mental being that age now, where when parents used to say to you back when you're a kid, like, oh, you never knew how we had it. You had to have the phone where you just put the finger in and ring it round and it goes back again. You never knew anything like that. And then we're going, yeah, whatever, we're so cool. And now we've hit that stage where it's like, they don't know what a landline is. They don't know what, they don't know what an internet dial tone is. You're like, you don't know what a cassette tape is. You're like, what? What do you mean? We've hit that stage now where we're like, well, back in our day, guys, you know.
So the thing that's blown my mind lately on like TikTok and things like that is people going like, I didn't realise that the woman that played the teacher in the new Wednesday programme was originally Wednesday Addams. I was like, that's Christina Ricci. You throw some fucking respect on her name. God damn it.
All right, Mandy Rose, chill out.
It's the boobs, isn't it? No. But like, how do you not know this? Come on, you ignorant children.
Well, they should do it about fucking, but it's sad state. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get to the fight. And finally, Jamie, now I'm going to do a treat for you, lovely. Yes, sure. Quite. What else, everybody? Is Callum treating us this week? Yes, quite. Pop.
There's an inverse relationship between how much you like someone and how much you're willing to clean your home before they come round.
Yeah, there really is. I tend to keep things. I like to keep things nice and tidy, regardless, anyway. But that is so true. That is. There's when certain people come over, you put a dishwasher on with like one plate in. Like, I better make it all clean. Like, just put stuff in there. Like I know when I put a chopping board in there, and it came out in half.
I remember that.
Yeah. I think it's because Karis was coming back after a week away, and she's in Turkey for 8 or 9 days. I was like, I bet it's supposed to look amazing. What a twat.
I don't suppose you brought me back a chopping board from your holidays.
But he's not wrong. I mean, I don't tend to do much cleaning around the place, to be quite honest with you, Jamie. It's more of a Keris thing. But yeah, but then, like I said to you at the start of the show, when I make him over, I was like, oh, fuck, I better make sure that, the shoes are away and that sort of thing. Like, it's all a bit more tidier, especially if they live in squalor.
I don't care who it is. If I know someone's coming around to my house, I have to have a tidy up. I just have to. I can't not.
And then Olivia goes, ha ha, Dad, I have other ideas.
Pretty much. Like, if my mom's coming around, I'm like, you've known me since I was a kid. The shit's going to be left where it is, all right? But if it's like anyone else, like, I'm having a clean up. It's got to be done. I can't.
Can I say something in reference to children really quickly? When I went to see my dad, I went to my sister's. Obviously, there was my... Hang on. There's so many kids now. 3 nieces and now 2 nephews. And when they all turned up, it's like, nah. I was like, oh my God, this is why I don't have children. Because I can't deal with it. Like, just screaming and crying and can I have this, can I have that, I want to play this, I want to do this. I was like, no, hell no, get me out of here.
See, I don't know why everyone loves the baby phase. To me, the baby phase is the worst phase. The now phase is now. This is where it gets good, when you can have a laugh and you can talk to them and have a great time and like the age Olivia is now. You can build that, like, just have stupid jokes and have a laugh with them. Instead of going, wah, 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 feed,
well, my nephew's a legend.
Go to bed, like, whatever.
Yeah, he's a legend.
So kids are just awesome.
But yeah, not for me. No thanks. I'm too selfish. I like my free time too much and watching what I want on TV.
That's fair. To be fair, if I have to watch Hercules one more time, I might cry. And considering that was one of my favourite Disney films, now I am sick to the back teeth of it.
There you are, see?
Yeah. I'm also sick of being called Zeus every morning on the way to school. The kid's weird. She's like, Daddy, you are Zeus. I am Hera. Let's go. Where's baby Meg? Where's baby... I'm like, do you pay attention to that film you're watching? You make no sense. There we go.
There we are. I mean, and I like to watch rugby on a Saturday, so if God forbid, and it never happened, if I ever had children, I'd be like, no, rugby's on now, let's turn this shit off, thank you. But it's Hey Doug. I couldn't give a fuck if it's Hey Dougie. Scotland are playing. Right.
Hey Dougie, you do not turn off. Hey Dougie is a fucking legend. Right.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm 35. I think I'll be fine. Another great treatings there. I've got my car speaking. My brain just went. Yeah, some great treatings again from Callum. Strong again. Strong every single week. We love them. Don't miss the special Christmas edition of the Chronicles of Podcast, where Callum is going to be on the show. Callum's going to be on the show for the special Christmas edition, guys. So make sure you do not miss the special spectacular.
Festive spectacular.
But for fuck's sake, again, I have to follow this,
you do.
Jamie.
You do.
Time for Tom's Journal.
Bring it.
And welcome to another edition of Tom's Journal. Gonna start with a tweet. A Christmas tweet, Jamie.
Ooh, Christmas.
Okay. Guys, it's happened. It's the 23rd of November. I went to pour a glass of Fanta from a bottle that I found in the kitchen, only to be met with the screams of my mother. It's the Christmas Fanta, Lauren! Their time has come. They have started early this year. Best of luck out there, guys.
It's the Christmas Fanta. To be fair, we've got stuff in the cupboard that are not to be touched till Christmas. I get it.
Well, we started doing that last month, and we've all the chocolate's gone. But the frozen food's still there. So
okay,
we're doing all right.
You're doing all right.
Yeah, it's the sweet stuff that's gone. The advent calendars are still there, though.
To be fair, I was sorting out the presents the other day, and I was looking at one of the selection boxes. I was like, I could get another one when I go shopping. I could. No, because
did you get an
put it away. Yes, I got 2. We've all got 2 now.
2?
Because we started out having 1, and then Becky ordered one that she forgot she ordered, So I got her other one in replacement to that. And then someone gave her one at work. So she's got two. I've got my original one and now Becky's old one. And we brought Olivia two anyway, because one's chocolate and one's books. So we've all got two.
Books?
Yeah, they do advent calendar books now. It's like a big book and you open it up and it's got a little book. It's got a little Hey Dougie one.
That's awesome.
I know, right?
Genius idea. But we move on.
We do.
British email translations, Jamie.
Okay.
I was under the impression, is basically, I'm furious. As per my email, which basically means I'm furious. With respect, which basically means I'm furious.
Yep.
Whilst I appreciate translation being I'm furious.
Yep.
And finally, as I'm sure you're aware, translation for that one is I'm fucking furious.
This is like my email debacle with Boots.
Oh, did you ever get that sorted, by the way?
Yeah, I got it sorted. I've got makeup now. No breast bumps. We're sorted.
Excellent. Good. This is going to be one of my... I really hope I don't fuck this up. This is one of my favourite entries into the journal ever, and I don't want to get this wrong. All right?
Okay.
Bear with me. If I stumble over my words, I am so sorry. This is great, though. Okay, are you ready, guys?
Okay.
Hey, Mario, that big old 500-pound son-bitch Bowser took the damn princess and used all the star power to put everyone in paintings. Now, take your ass inside those paintings and recover the stars with a little bit of jumping. What? A little bit of punching. What? A little bit of ass whooping. What? To save Princess Peach. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Toad said so.
I was thinking, how is this going to relate from Mario to Steve Austin?
Magnificent.
Superb.
So,
Stone Toad said so.
Obviously, back at Halloween, Jamie, obviously, everybody loves a bit of a Frightmare-ish type thing. Everyone goes to like Frightmare and haunted houses, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Well, this is a haunted house for anxious people. Okay? Someone jumps out on you and asks you to remember to turn the stove off before you left. You get a text. You get a text that just says, "Call me." You can only exit if you ask a stranger for directions.
Fuck that. I'll find it. That just made me think that I'm an anxious person. I've never really labelled myself as one before, but when you said that, all three of them was like, nope.
I'm surprised that thinking you hadn't locked the front door was one as well.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on that. That is a nightmare one for me. The amount of times I've gone back to check.
Yeah, I do all the time, especially.
I've made Becky turn the car back around so I can go check.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Got to the end of the road. I'm not 100% sure I locked that door. Fuck's sake.
An entry from Mark Bernardin.
Oh,
former guest Mark Bernardin to the show.
Okay.
Tom's Journal. He posted on Instagram and it made me fucking raw. First day as a vampire hunter. This shit's easy. First night as a vampire hunter. Oh, fuck.
Oh, we love you, Mark. We love you.
So fucking good.
That's brilliant.
As per the emails, I've gone back to Very British Problems again.
Okay.
At So Very British. So, excuse me, why are you having two lunches? Oh, it's Christmas. Why are you mulling wine at 10 a.m.? Oh, it's Christmas. All you've done today is watch films. Yes, because it's Christmas. You've eaten all the chocolates. Yes, because it's Christmas. Have you started Christmas shopping yet? Fuck off, it's November.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm quite proud of myself this year. I am done. Now I've just got to wrap the fucking stuff.
Fair play. Fair play, my friend.
The worst part.
As a teacher, you're sometimes really privileged to witness life moments. I saw a girl approach a boy, and she asked him if he wanted her number. He paused. He pulled out his phone. The utter joy on the girl's face. I then confiscated the phone as it's against the rules to have it out in the corridor.
That is the sort of power I would want. That is amazing.
That was just fantastic. Because again, or I was reading, I was going, oh, it's obviously some really nice thing there at the end. I was like, that's going in the journal. I love scouring the internet for things. Just there's so much great stuff out there.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
How many have I got left? Let's have a quick look. Oops, I just kind of deleted my list. Bear with me.
Yeah, don't do that.
5 more because they're all great and I want to get them all in. All right, Jamie.
Yes.
There is nothing on earth more powerful than the grip strength of a nan trying to put a fiver in your hand when you're telling her not to.
Just don't tell your mother. Just take it.
Get some sweets with it. Just get some sweeties. You like that? Just get some sweeties for yourself.
When you're at the shop, you pull out a fiver. Your mum's like, "Where the fuck did you get that from?"
Well, no. You put a Fred on the table. Cheers, £5.
Have you got anything smaller?
So, this is just a reminder, Jamie, that when Sir Terry Pratchett was knighted, he dug up his own iron ore, learned to smelt and smelted it, added meteorite iron, learned to forge, and forged himself a star metal sword, as you do. And then he put it away somewhere safe, so he wouldn't violate any UK knife laws. Someone responded with, if I ever run a post-apocalyptic campaign, Sir Terry Pratchett's star metal sword will definitely be a legendary item for players to retrieve.
What? I've never got into Terry Pratchett and all that sort of books and everything. I know they're very beloved, and I do apologise to anyone listening to this, but that makes the man an absolute fucking legend. That's brilliant. I wonder what happened to that after he died.
It's obviously still somewhere safe.
I was going to say, I wonder if he told anyone where it was, or it's still hidden somewhere. Ooh,
that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing.
Get the metal detectors up, boys.
Imagine you're renovating your house and you just find this fucking weird iron ore sword created by Terry Pratchett. You're like, oh, fuck.
Brilliant. Right, 2 more.
2 more.
You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but have you ever heard of return your fucking shopping cart to the goddamn store, you inconsiderate piece of shit?
That's not where I thought that was going, but
I hate those things. I hate them so much. Oh, you've heard of the Shelf. Have you heard of Rambo on a Lambo? Oh, piss off. Grow up, you piece of shit. But that one was fucking fantastic. And finally, Jamie, and finally, one of the greatest entries into the journal ever.
Okay.
From a teacher again. My favourite kid I ever taught when I was a swim teacher was this little 4-year-old Italian boy. One time he sneezed and nobody said anything. So he just went, "What? No blessings for Giacomo?" You absolute little legend.
What a hero. How old did you say he was? 4?
He was 4 years old.
That's even better. I would have laughed if a fully grown adult said that. That makes sense.
What? No blessings for Giacomo?
I'm doing that next time I sneeze and no one answers me.
Amazing. Was another edition of Tom's Journal.
Superb.
So good. Love it. Absolutely love it. You're right. Have I killed you off there? You okay?
I've managed to rein it in this week and not die because I don't want my cough to end me off on the bloody camera.
End you off. I hope it doesn't end you off either. But Jamie, let's get to the cruxy, deliciously interview part, shall we? Bring in that piece.
Oh, get that piece going.
Get that piece. Shall I get that piece?
Yeah, you grab that piece.
The piece is going to get gut. Welcome to the Chronicles of Graham Humphreys. This is going to be sick, Jamie. This is a very in-detail interview. So if you like to know the ins and outs of painting and how he makes posters, etc., this is the interview for you.
This is. I love those these interviews, where we say, so, blah, 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 and then we just sit back and listen. I love those interviews because the amount of detail and passion that are in these guys' voices, it's just phenomenal to hear. And today's no exception. Graham is a stunning artist. You see the work this man has created over the years. They are iconic. The detail is incredible. He created posters for The Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, From Dusk Till Dawn, Party Monster, album artwork for bands like the Cramps. He's done so many amazing things during his career. And he's done it all. Well, I say all. 90% of it literally using paper and paint. None of that extra stuff. Good old-fashioned, old-school style. Superb.
And there's also a bit of Rob Zombie talking here. So if you're a fan of Rob Zombie, this is definitely the interview for you.
Yeah, this is so good.
Jamie!
Yes, sir.
Any words at all that you'd like to share with the audience that could possibly be final?
Not to the audience, but to Graham, I will say. A massive thank you for coming on the show, sir. We absolutely loved hearing your stories. That passion comes through when you talk. And like everyone needs to go check out Graham's work because you would have seen it before. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Graham, thank you so much for taking the time out to sit and chat with my friend. We absolutely loved it. It was great to hear all your stories. And what I love is the fact that you sat there at the very beginning and said, I want to pass this knowledge on to people that are coming up after me. So we love it when people do that. Absolutely incredible. And I guess we should let everybody hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, interviewing this week, it's Graham Humphreys.
Good, thank you. I thought I'd just get here a couple of minutes early. People tend to like that.
We do like punctuality on the show, yes.
Good. How are you both doing anyway?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Sorry, Jamie was staring at me to say, are you going to answer the question or normally he goes first? Yeah, well, thank you, Graham. You're in for a ride, I'll put it that way.
Good.
Are you ready? Is your seatbelt in?
It is, Jeremy. I've clicked it on already. Got my sick bag on the side as well, just in case.
I was about to say, Captain, this is your passengers, the captain speaking. Breaker 19, all that sort of stuff. Essentially, all that happens really here is, Graham, is you're more than welcome to say anything you pretty much like. You can swear as much as you like. Just don't obviously hail Hitler. Don't talk about Cat Von D, like that sort of shit. You know, the usual crap that nobody really wants. You know what I mean? Just common sense. Should I put it that way? Is that?
Yeah, there's not much here, I'm afraid. But
oh, shut up! Shut up!
I'm just admiring your horror posters. Sorry.
Yes, please do. There's a lovely Dracula AD 72 and
oh shit!
Wow. Some lovely old Belgium Hammer posters as well. A whole bunch of them.
Can see where you get your inspiration from, sir.
Well, they're good to have there because it's the benchmark, you know, for me. And if I can create a good Hammer poster, then I'm doing the job right.
I like it. That's amazing. But thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I mean, it means the absolute world.
Well, no, I'm always happy to talk about the stuff, and you know, because I think it's important to pass on the knowledge, if you like, and help inspire other people should they require inspiring. You know, some people do.
I like that very much. But basically what we do here is I do a little introduction, and then, as my co-host likes to say, we just bombard the living hell out of you with questions. How does that sound, sir?
That sounds perfect.
Wonderful. Let's do this little intro. Just double checking I did press record.
It's the sound's okay, yeah, for you?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Good.
And very clear, which is what we like.
Good. Well, I shall try to articulate, correctly and enunciate my words. There's been no theatrical training, I'm afraid, but I've done quite a few interviews now, so I can pronounce my words correctly. I'm from the West Country of England, and when I first moved to London, nobody could understand a word I said because regional accent was so strong. So I've learned to temper it over the years.
Well, we both used to live in Cheltenham, which is around the West Country area, so we're used to it.
Oh well, you know the accent well. Then yeah, of course.
Right, introduction time. Oh, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we bring you another wonderful and talented guest. Today's guest has helped draw you, the moviegoer, into watching movies such as The Evil Dead, From Dusk Till Dawn, Party Monster, Nightmare on Elm Street, and many, many more with his incredible artwork for posters, DVD covers, and much more. He's an author, a lover of horror, and most importantly, an artiste. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Chronicles of Graham Humphreys. I love it when the guests applaud themselves.
I'm applauding you.
Oh,
yes.
Nail it every time, Jamie. Beautiful. But Graham, I think the biggest hard-hitting question that everybody loves to talk about at this point in time is, how was your pandemic season? How have your last... I know it's kind of... Is it over? Is it not over now like nobody talks about it anymore? But how have the last 2 years been for you?
Well, I'd say it's over now, pretty much, certainly as far as I'm concerned. And probably, people I know, friends, clients, etc. And I've been going to see bands and, exhibitions and things, and doing all the stuff that I would have done before. I mean, the main difference for me has been that I was working from a desk space within another company in the West End of London. And as soon as the pandemic hit, we were all asked to start working from home, which was, I think we all just naively thought might be a week, 2 weeks, a month at the maximum. And then, the years passed, it seemed. But anyway, in that period of time, I mean, obviously, the whole sort of business of entertainment and how it's serviced kind of changed quite a lot. And so the company itself that I was working with had to downsize, as a lot of companies did. And I think that I realised at that point that actually working from home actually was not a problem at all. And I've been considering doing it for quite some time. In fact, I'm in the very same corner that I first started working in when I moved into this flat, which was in 1985. So it's I haven't progressed at all. But yeah, no, it's working from home is fine now, because it would have been more difficult back then, because obviously I didn't have access to desktop computing, and there was no internet, and so everything was done by phone and silly little things, faxes, and of course mostly I'd have to meet people face to face, which is fine anyway though, but hand deliver artwork quite often, because everything now is delivered over the internet, and everything gets scanned here, and although it's all it's all still paint on paper, but it all gets delivered digitally. So so for that reason, actually working from home is actually much easier than it would have been then. One thing I had to do was get a sort of much faster broadband, because I realised that delivering large files is not really good from a sort of poxy little system I had already. So I kind of got all that in order, and really, I'm quite disciplined anyway. Though everything's deadline driven anyway, so you know how to get stuff done, and I can get up early when I need to and work late if I need to. And actually, there's a bit more freedom to actually work harder in a way. Actually, I wouldn't call that freedom at all. Really, it's a big pain. So it means that there's no escape, because the work is right here in front of me, and I sort of sleep just over there, and the work's just here. So as soon as I get up in the morning, it's just there waving at me. But the main thing was that because of the pandemic, really made home entertainment far more important than it had been before, especially for people on furlough. I mean, there's so much exercise you can do before you just want to sit down and watch a film. So as sort of, somebody who just works on their own anyway, though, it didn't, I wasn't affected by not having people around. But it just meant that suddenly I got a lot busier, and I took the time also to catalogue a lot of the artwork I keep at the flat. Probably about 400 or 500 pieces of artwork here. And I thought, I should just have a look at them and see what's here. And so I started posting, 3 or 4 images every morning. I'd get really early, just make a point of doing, just part of the whole discipline process. And as a result of that, I've sold a number of pieces of artwork, which just helped move things along a bit, I guess, and also broaden the sort of possible client base, I suppose, because a lot of people were obviously looking at the internet a lot more than they were doing before, and so that kind of brought me some new clients, particularly from the US side, and pretty much all the artwork sales were in America as well. So from that point of view, the pandemic helped me focus a lot more on my work and become a lot busier, to be quite honest. And that hasn't really let up since, which is, puts me in a very good, very lucky, fortunate situation. Although there seems very little time to do much else at the moment. I mean, I think it's quite important to take breaks. It really is. And if I'm going out to see friends, that's really important time away from the work, because if you're just working constantly all the time, you lose focus on what you're doing, and you lose the extra stimulus that you need in order to keep the work fresh. And communicating with other people is essential in that respect. And of course, I missed doing some of the conventions as well for that 2-year period, because for somebody like myself, it's very important to get feedback from people to know if what you're doing is something they want to see anymore, and also to find out, what people react to, and how they respond to the different things you do, and you get a good sense of in what direction to take the work in, and also kind of build confidence, I suppose, in what you do, because when you work alone, it's very difficult to kind of just really see from the outside how your work's going. You do need that feedback, and fortunately, most of us seem to be pretty good, so that's okay. But also, you have to kind of operate some sort of self judgment, if you like. Just always constantly, trying to do something a bit better than you did last time. And when you look back through older work, in particular, you kind of, you identify things which you consider to be your weaknesses, if you like, and try to just build on those and strengthen things in that way. But the subject matter itself usually is what provides the inspiration and helps shape what I do. So to an extent, you are kind of, there are parameters with everything you do, which you have to work within. But the challenge is to try to make it a bit more exciting than perhaps some of the products often is.
Amazing. Yeah, you're absolutely right about feedback, though. As you say, you don't know where you're going right or wrong, because sometimes we're our own worst critic. So, it's great to get that feedback. So, yeah, I imagine conventions are so important for that sort of thing.
Well, it is, but it's also just, seeing what's out there, meeting other artists as well and seeing the work they do, and, find out where your place is within the sort of the wider picture, I guess, though. But, you also, it's important to pick up on other little cultural nuances which are out there, because people view things through as a sort of a cultural lens, if you like. You kind of work within a time which at any given moment, which is influenced by other things that perhaps you're not quite so aware of. I mean, I know there are a lot of shows on streaming shows like Netflix and Prime, and lots of series that people get really into, and that really kind of helps shape their tastes in a way. And I'm just not. I just don't have the time or inclination to sit there and just watch some sort of 16-part thing, which just doesn't seem to go anywhere. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I started watching The Heist a while back, and I just assumed it'd be an 8-part thing. I thought, it's getting interesting. Obviously, it's polishing itself up to a big finale, and then saw actually 16 episodes, and I thought, oh god, it's 2 more seasons as well. I thought, well, I just don't think I'll bother with this anymore. But yeah, so I find myself watching some things because I think it's important just to see where the sort of current pulse, I suppose, is in the industry. I mean, I watch a lot of films anyway, though. So obviously I go to, for instance, things like the Fright Fest every year in London, which is a good introduction to the sort of the shape of horror, I guess. Though it's clearly every year something has affected filmmakers to lead them in particular directions. So you had years where there was just seemed to be wall-to-wall zombies, and the home invasion films. I remember one year seemed to be quite popular, and filmmakers obviously pick up on the politics of the time, and state of the world, and there might be sort of a year of eco horror, but all these things are quite important just to take note of, and just you subtly bring them into the work you do without trying to make it too overt, but just being aware of what's out there is important, I think.
Absolutely. So take us back, sir, to the days of young Master Humphreys, you could say. growing up in the West Country.
Cleaning chimneys, yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Was it always art for you, or was this something that came a little bit later on?
I think, probably. I knew it was going to be something to do with drawing or painting, but I didn't know what. I mean, when you're young, you have no idea. Well, certainly then, you have no idea what options were open to you. And I think probably not until my early teens, I think it was, discussed at the breakfast table, son, what are you going to do with your life? And you think, I have no idea, really. But I think my dad had sort of suggested that graphic design was the sort of commercial option, the sort of area where I'm most likely to make a living. I mean, anybody want to be an artist, but you're not going to make a living unless you're very lucky or well connected. So I think I knew that probably by the time I was 15, I'd be looking to go to art college, and with view to doing graphic design. And lo and behold, it's what I did. But it was good grounding because it was commercially kind of situed, if you like, and it gave me a good grounding in all the basics of design, typography, and some knowledge of printing as well, which I think a lot of people don't seem to know much about. I've discovered, when you know your printing processes and what's required of you for print, it helps a lot. Understanding the basics of screen colors versus print colors, and I do speak to fellow illustrators sometimes who kind of struggle with this idea that they work digitally, but actually translating a work for print, it's not what you see on the screen isn't what you're going to get on a piece of paper, for instance. So the way colors are delivered is a completely different process, and trying to make people understand that when you convert screen colors into print colors, the way it has to separate out the inks for the whole litho process or whatever it is, maybe digital even, though it's just going to be a very different thing. So from that perspective, it was really, really useful for me. Of course, the moment you leave college, everything changes, and what you thought you knew everything about, suddenly you know nothing at all. And going into the industry blind, really, you have to learn things very, very quickly. And luckily, I was working alongside some of the fellow students who moved up to London as well. So we all kind of moved up together pretty much. And so I learned a lot from my contemporaries and about printing processes and delivering artwork ready for print. Things like typesetting, and it was a horribly complex, irritating thing you had to know about, which thankfully nobody has to bother with nowadays, because it's just all, you just type it in and assign font sizes and stuff, and it just does it for you. I mean, you don't have to worry about getting a ruler out anymore, because you just have to draw lines and actually stick bits of text on the lines and try and make everything perfectly parallel. Nobody has to worry about that at all anymore. But I remember the studios always smelt of spray mount, and try to explain to students nowadays what cow gum is. I have no idea what you're talking about, but rooms always smell of cow gum and spray mount, all the stuff you used to stick bits of paper onto other bits of paper with, ready to mark up and send off to printers. All extraordinary stuff, really. And if you made mistakes in your markups, it quite often be too late to change things. And I remember doing a couple of video covers for Palace Pictures, for instance, and just making very simple, stupid little mistakes. For instance, instructing to the printer, when you have usually a little photocopy of the illustration in place, just so they can see where things sit. And but you'd also have to give them the percentage of whatever they're working from, whether it's the actual piece of artwork they're going to scan or a transparency, just telling them what percentage that has to reduce to fit. And if you get your percentage wrong, they'll just go with that anyway. Even though visually it probably looked wrong, but they're just following your instructions. And it's just you can see stuff coming back from the printer and think, oh my God, that's not meant to be there. And but it'd be too late. I can look back at some stuff and I can see all the errors, and nobody else seems to at all.
You'd think if it was that glaringly obvious, they'd go, that can't be right. Let me just give him a ring. Let's just, not just go, sorry.
Well, then because everything was litho printed, and making the plates was quite expensive, and the films and the plates, all this stuff, all the mechanical processes should go into a final print. And with VHS especially, they'd be churning out a lot of them, and quite, they'd usually gang them up on large sheets of paper, so you'd have several releases all on one sheet, just then cut up. So there was little room for error, really. But you were lucky if you got a proof to look at first of all, where you could actually look at it and then say, well, that's incorrect. And sometimes you'd have the chance to make changes. Quite often you wouldn't, though. So that's how things moved along. And even now, it's possible to make errors on with the software in terms of elements within the artwork, can go bits of array sometimes. So I'm talking about layout software in particular. Largely when you're scanning a painting, that it is what it is. There's little that can go wrong there. To be quite honest, nowadays color reproduction is really, really good. The screen I used, I have to say, is pretty 100% accurate to what ultimately gets printed at the other end. And printing presses now as well are just really sophisticated, that the quality of print is so good. Unlike in the 80s, for instance, when I was doing a lot of the early work, it was all a bit hit and miss. The color balances be off quite often, and you have to. If there were proofs, you would say, you can just tone down the red, or maybe make it less green, all this kind of stuff. Nowadays, you don't really have to worry about that, because it just pretty much delivers what you see on screen.
It's mental to hear how much technology has changed the way you do things.
Well, it is, and the horror stories of providing artwork. I could just talk for hours and hours about how ridiculous some of this stuff was. You used to have because most of your artwork, for layouts for posters and things would be delivered as little, black and white pieces of art with then, tracing paper over the top and instructions, print this white out of the background, or, add a drop shadow here, a percentage of blue, yellow, or whatever, all these little instructions, but mostly just dealing with black and white, hard black and white stuff. And we used to have these machines which would like produce, very hard black and white prints, which you then paste down. And you had little machines producing these little prints, and they'd be delivered wet, so you'd have to, I'd have a little hairdryer to dry them off, or just stick them down, wait for them to dry, or have a little washing line and peg them up. It's pathetic, really. Just how ridiculous all this stuff was. And then you sometimes you have you spray them out or carry gum, stick stuff down. You'd have a waxing machine. Literally, just run this stuff through a little waxer, put a coat of hot wax on it, and you just rub that down onto the surface. And if it's in the middle of the summer, sometimes the wax would be melting on the way to the printer. So the printer would get this piece of artwork delivered with a whole load of stuff, which is obviously just melted off the sheet, and you have to send it back. You have to repaste it up again. I mean, just really stupid stuff, which you don't have to worry about that now. Thank goodness. So,
I bet you say thank goodness. I bet every now and again you're like, I kind of miss the good old days.
No,
no, I don't, Jamie. Quite frankly.
So, Graham, where did your love of horror movies come from? Then, why horror?
I don't know really. Probably just born wrong. But I think that it probably started off with things like stuff you watch as a kid on TV, and books, stuff you saw in books, and I just probably the first images I really remember that I actually had some of engagement with were any image of a skeleton or a skull, funnily enough. And that hasn't really changed at all. But yeah, that's probably where it really began. Just, science books, I think, probably. And also, books borrowed from the library. Because, back then, going to the library was a much bigger thing than it would be now. Everybody has a device, a computer, and, people just go on the internet. There, without any of that kind of stuff, the library was such an important place if you wanted to look for inspiration, or just as a kid, just anything to entertain yourself with in book form. Pictorial stuff, obviously, when you're a kid, nobody wants to read really. You just look at the pictures. So you'd react to the books which had great pictures in, and quite often, I found myself attracted to a lot of class, artists from the past centuries, really, who are doing a lot of religious paintings, which because that's where the real horror used to be, sort of very gory biblical scenes and demons and such like, and that that was my probably the real introduction to horror, I guess, in a way. And it was only later, kind of watching TV and then ultimately then watching films as well. Because the way films were at the time, you couldn't get into a cinema to see an 18 certificate film unless you had mates or you knew somebody who worked at the cinema. And being a sort of a smaller stature anyway, I was younger than I was, so there was no chance. But so I had to wait for stuff to come out on TV, and that's before obviously the home entertainment era, because VHS obviously changed everything drastically. Then all this stuff became accessible suddenly. But when I was a kid, it just wasn't accessible. So books were the main source of inspiration and imagery. And you'd occasionally see, everybody of my generation had one particular book which sent us all to the dark side straight away, which was Dennis Gifford's Pictorial History of the Horror Movies. And you speak to anybody who's probably between the age of 50 and 70, and they'll immediately identify that book as being crucial to their horror development, if you like. And I'm no exception there at all. But a lot of magazines aimed at kind of like, I suppose boys really, and young teenagers in the 70s were kind of presenting a lot of horror stuff. There was like Famous Monsters was the American magazine, of course, which is sort of legendary, really. But there are a number of things here, and you could get a World of Horror, There was a dedicated Hammer magazine, and so really that was the other introduction to horror as well. Other parts of horror. I mean, I learned all about Universal horror films from those magazines in the 1970s, and then a bit later, they turned their attention to all the Hammer stuff as well. So really, that's where all my kind of sources begin.
Amazing.
I mean, you wouldn't guess from anything behind me, would you, at all?
No, not really.
It's about when Tom asked that question, I was thinking, I was going to be this film and everything. I wasn't expecting it to be magazines and books. Like that blew my mind. I wasn't expecting that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it as a sort of 12-year-old now, that would be completely different. That wouldn't be the case at all. Well, I don't think so anyway, though. But that was the only option you had. There wasn't, it's. I don't know how people get their heads around how we survived without a computer or a mobile phone, but people did, and you just find a way, ultimately. And also, if you have a group of friends who like the same things as well, then you'd swap magazines and books, and of course we were all none of us were gaming then. We were all building Airfix models, and so of course the other thing was all those fantastically disappointing Aurora monster kits, which the boxes look fantastic, but the actual kits were just terrible. But that's what we all had, and again, anybody of my generation will tell you they all had those same monster kits as well, and everybody was always disappointed as well. So it wasn't just me.
These are terrible. I need to go buy another one.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Terrible monsters. Yeah. But it also it made you want to know more about why those monsters were those monsters, and where those images came from, and it made me read more books, if you like, though, because I wanted to read Frankenstein, I wanted to read Dracula, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I wanted to read all those books, Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean, of course, I had no idea that these were like big, verbose tomes, written a century ago, which as a kid, they were quite tough going, to be quite honest. But I've reread them since, and it's less daunting now, of course. But also, you have a now I have a better idea of the time they were written in, and the cultural sort of issues that surrounded those books, and it's actually far more interesting now, delving into that than it was then, because suddenly you realise that the images you saw on film or in stills and magazines and books bear little relation to the real content and source material. But then, it's interesting trying to see how the two tally up in many ways. And of course, having seen every possible permutation of Dracula, for instance, and the sort of Frankenstein story, it's interesting to see how people reinterpret those things. And I think it's only in the last probably 20, 30 years that people really delve back into the original material and actually try to get into the sort of the politics and the sort of sexual politics of the era in which they were written as well. I mean, obviously Mary Shelley was writing in a very sort of misogynist era, and so the way she approached her novel was something that probably it's very hard to imagine now, really. And even the whole Dracula thing was quite an interesting book in itself, because it wasn't written as a novel; it was written as a collection of journals and letters and recordings. It is very much a book about technology and how we communicate with each other, and so all those little nuances are quite interesting to see now, and it kind of just miles away from your average Hammer film, which really just played with the sensational aspects of those books. But I mean, I also around that time I probably discovered Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft, and so it really started twisting my mind then.
So I know your first big job, if correct me if I'm wrong, was creating the poster for the theatrical re-release of The Evil Dead, that phenomenal piece that you created. That's one hell of a foot in the door, sir. How did that come about?
Well, as I always have to tell people, just being in the right place at the right time, or perhaps the wrong place at the wrong time, who knows? But that was just, I was probably my second year out of college and just looking for work. And as far as I remember, it was literally somebody who was the secretary at a small company where one of my friends was working. He'd gone straight from college into this quite amazing design job at a really fantastic little design company. And it just happened this secretary knew somebody who worked at Palace Pictures, and they literally just set up shop, I believe, within those last few months. As a distributor of film, and in fact they'd only distributed one film at that point, which was the film Diva, and sort of French thriller, and so The Evil Dead was their second acquisition, and it was just luckily for me that I on the suggestion of this particular person, that I went along to their office and showed them my work. And it just, as I say, you couldn't make it up. It's just literally, they said, we've just got this film. And looked at the word and said, I think your work will be perfect for it. And, they really took a risk, because I had very little commercial printed work in the folio. It's mostly all college stuff. And also, when you don't have much work, what you have to do is really just build up a body of samples, if you like. So I was always working. If I wasn't getting a paid job, I'd be creating new pieces of artwork, which would hopefully try and win me some commissions. So it was on the basis of a couple of pieces in a folio that I had that they just said, "Oh, this is perfect style," and so literally within a matter of weeks, I painted that poster, and suddenly had a career in horror films.
It's a phenomenal piece. It is absolutely stunning. But I'm guessing the success from that poster, that iconicness of that poster, that's what got people knocking on your door to go, we'd like you to design a poster for our movie, please.
Well, not enough, really. I think I knocked on the door at all, really. I think
really?
Probably because, it was such an odd thing. When I designed that poster, I was in my head designing a sort of 1950 style B-movie poster, and nowadays I get told that it's very quintessentially 1980s. Well, it wasn't in my head; it was quintessentially 1950s at the time. But it's a very simple, crude piece of work, and I've still got the artwork here. It's at the other side of the room, in fact. So I've never let that go. But it's it's quite small as well. But it nevertheless was so on its own and out of its time in a way, because I don't know how. I think for the people who want to see the film and people who reacted to the poster were exactly the right people, but I don't think other clients would have seen it in quite the same way, because they didn't know how to translate that particular piece into another job. Where else would you find a use for that particular type of style? So it was. I did get a few commissions on the basis of can we have another Evil Dead, please? Thank you very much. And I just say well, if I've done it once, I'm not going to do another version of the same thing. But people have this weird idea that if something's successful, it must be because of this one particular thing. And they just think, well, if you reproduce that one particular thing, their product will be as equally successful. That's just not the case at all. The Evil Dead would have been successful with or without my artwork anyway, because it's it is what it is. It's an amazing film, and just it hits all the right buttons for horror fans, and certainly at that time it did. The posters ancillary to that, really. But what I think it did do is just maybe add another layer to the perception of the film. It kind of made it slightly more outsider, I guess, in a way, and I think it just appealed to, as I mentioned before, to people that it just hits at the right time musically as well, though, that just coming out of the initial punk rock scene into what kind of just sort of developed into sort of there's like a whole sort of rockabilly thing going on at the same time, and psychobilly. And then the Batcave had just opened up, I think, about 1982 as well, which was, really the beginning of the whole goth scene as well. So I think that poster appealed to, across the board. It was like there was something very punk rock about it, and also the people who recognised the sort of 1950s vibe would have the psychobilly side of things would have been there as well. And then, of course, it just hit the sort of beginning of goth in many ways as well, as we know it now. So I think it just, was just a very lucky piece of work at that time for me to produce, probably not knowingly, making a sort of a culturally relevant piece, but it just happened to be just hitting the right buttons at the time. So I think, trying to reproduce that, you can't really, because the product's not going to be the same anyway, though. And it took a long time for me to break out of that particular look. I did a lot of magazine work and some book cover work, a lot of editorial work, which tended to be mostly humorous stuff. I mean, the Evil Dead posters, was intended to be a humorous poster as well. It's very cartoony. And so a lot of my work was humor based up until the point that I got the Nightmare on Elm Street commission, which was I really wasn't going to be up for that at all. And the Palace Pictures didn't want to use me at all for that. But luckily, it went to my friends who had set up their own little studio at that time. And they argued that I would be able to handle the subject matter in a way which was different to the Evil Dead. And I think, I had a couple of book covers which probably had a more sort of serious, figurative look to them. And I think on the basis of those, I think that they were convinced that I probably could do the poster. And so luckily, I got a Nightmare on Elm Street to do as well. And that, of course, is the other poster which people will always associate my work with, although most of my work doesn't look like that at all. But yeah, so that was another very, very lucky thing. So between the two of those posters, I think I could prove that I could actually create a range of styles, and hopefully that helped me get more work.
Love that.
So, go on, Jerry.
No.
Before we delve into the Nightmare on Elm Street and really delve into your work a bit more, I read that you use the traditional medium of, forgive my pronunciation, is it gouache?
Gouache.
Gouache. I see, I was close. I think I just said to turn left in French. But
yeah. But this is it's the medium I've used ever since I was at art college. It's a water-based paint. I guess it's like a cross between watercolor and acrylic. As a simplistic way of putting it. It's basically watercolor with a white base, and it's a form of paint that's been around for I'd say a good couple of thousand years, if not longer, in one form or another. The original white base would have been some sort of paste or probably some sort of animal, something or other with chalk mixed into it to create a base. But the pigments would have been, just mineral pigments, so basic blues, reds, greens, and such like. And there's a lot of paintings existing now still from a good 1,000 years ago, which are painted in something which is approximate to what this is now. So gouache has been around for a long time. It was something that was favoured, I think, by the advertising industry in the middle of the last century, especially because where a lot of posters were painted, advertising stuff, quite often flat colours were used. And gouache, if it's used well, you could get really, really flat colours. Like a background of blue or red, but the range of pigments has kind of grew quite a lot in the 70s and 80s. But for myself, I still use gouache, but I only use about 7 colours. I won't use any others at all, because out of those 7 colours, I can get everything that I need. And so, you get people that kind of buy these flesh colour, flesh tones and browns and stuff, and you think, well, why are you doing that? You can mix it from you can mix it from a few colours, and I do. I don't buy green at all, because I can mix it from yellow and a particular type of blue. I've got 2 blues I use. One is good for doing greens, the other one's good for doing purples. It's you also, to be quite honest, I think in the early days that was an economical consideration as well, because I don't have money, so
bit of money.
Not going to be wasting money on colours you don't need at all. So I think that's one of the reasons why I've probably got a limited number of pigments I actually buy. But yeah, the range is amazing what you can get out just of those few colours, and also it's quite versatile, because you could do washes of colour and then solid blocks of colour over the top. So you get a whole range of textures and techniques within what should be something quite limited, but it isn't at all really. So I mean, if you look at the work, it's there's a whole range of brush marks and means in there, and as I say, it's just all a few basic colours, and everything comes from that.
That is a serious skill to have, because obviously people come in now with their vast array of paint. You're like, I see you. Look at come with this 7. It's like, I don't need your vast array of colours there. I will do my 7. That's amazing.
That's the range of colours, and that's actually just an old plate. Literally everything I've painted in the last 20 years has been mixed on this.
Amazing. That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Other essential equipment, a broken chipped glass. Every job literally in the last 25 years has mixed my paint in this with this glass. And the other essential piece of equipment, kitchen roll.
yeah. I love it.
It used to be toilet roll, but I just thought it was a bit, I thought we'd get a bit classier and just get to the kitchen.
Time to change now.
You're making a bit of money from all this work now, Graham. Let's upgrade to kitchen roll.
And notch up, yeah.
What I love about your work, though, is there's a mix of traditional sketch and paint, like we were just talking about then, but with posters like Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street. But you've done work using photographs, like from Dusk Till Dawn and the Party Monster poster, which I absolutely love, by the way.
Thank you.
Was this you wanting to try something different, flex those muscles, or something that just sort of happened with the changes of technology?
I just had no choice, because as soon as Photoshop appeared, desktop computing, everybody had a computer suddenly. Not many people could use them very well, but and also, some terrible Photoshop work going on at the time. But suddenly clients didn't want to see illustration anymore; they just want to see Photoshop, because they thought it was a new thing, and they just thought, that's what other people would like to see as well. So literally, I although I was illustrating in other areas, as I said, editorial stuff, book covers, and a lot of educational publication stuff. But as far as posters were concerned, and VHS and DVD, nobody wanted to commission illustration at all. So that's how that happened. But it's interesting, because what I did realise very, very quickly is that other people who are working in the sort of the work environment, who were very good technically with a computer, suddenly found themselves doing all the photocomping, creating those images you would see on in posters and VHS and stuff. But one thing you realise is that a good technician isn't necessarily a good artist, because there are things they just don't see, which an artist would instantly, though. I mean, this whole obsession with high resolution images and very crisp outlines, and the way you cut things out just doesn't look natural at all, though. It just looks terrible. And as an artist, when I would use Photoshop, I would do things to the photographs. I would blur the edges very slightly, and there's all these little tricks you would do, which are just visual things which you would do as an artist, and which literally as a technician you wouldn't think about doing, because you're concentrating on the on the quality of the shot and how it's cut out precisely and how it's laid over another shot. And also what they're missing is quite often the quality of the elements that you might be putting together in a photo comp. It may be that the background is suddenly much better resolution than your foreground focal thing, but rather than actually change the focus of the background to actually degrade it so that it brings your foreground even actually properly to the foreground, they might just kind of leave it thinking, well, it's the best quality of each layer, but actually visually just looks wrong. And again, it needs an artist's eye to actually recognize why an image isn't working. So as far as using Photoshop was concerned, I treated it as just another form of illustration in a way, not one that was as satisfying, of course. But I did a huge amount of work for 10 years, I think it was, without doing any recognizable illustration work other than the stuff sort of in other areas, up until probably Arrow Films approached me, and I think it was they probably are the first company to really kickstarted illustration or an interest in illustrated images again for home entertainment. And that's going back about 15 years or so probably, I think. And ever since then, of course, it's been the mainstay of independent home entertainment distribution. So I've been able to work with other companies like Second Sight and 88 Films and some various German companies. Over here is Eureka as well, and it was Odeon Entertainment, who've since changed their name, I think, to Screen Entertainment, I think they. Some of the companies in America as well, though. So it seems to have spread across the whole spectrum of distribution now, and I think it's because there's a lot of reissue stuff going on, and a lot of the reissue stuff is, funny enough, stuff in the 80s. So I guess people are making a nod back to that era, and especially when you get to older films, when you get stuff in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s even, then it just seems more appropriate to use something which is sympathetic to the advertising of the time. And it's interesting how it's now translated into soundtrack covers as well, vinyl soundtrack covers. And so I've been doing a lot of that recently as well for Waxwork Records in the States. I've done a number of covers for them, none of which have been announced yet, so I can't say I can't tell you what they are yet. But although at least one of them was painted over a year and a half ago. But it takes time for these things to come to market, it seems sometimes, though. I think the first one might be coming out in December, and then the other ones probably through till next June. That are the ones that I've done already, but I've got some more being lined up at the moment. But so that's been great as well. I mean, because I did do a lot of record cover work in the early 80s anyway, though, which was illustrated stuff. So it's sort of come full circle in a way. And you find that a lot of younger bands now kind of just are thinking about stuff they remember seeing as kids, and they can see the value of painted work over a photo comp or a photograph. And I think they know that, much like writing music, there's a craft and a passion to it which you just don't get working in another form at all. So I think just for now anyway, though, there's been a revival of illustrated images, and just hope it continues. And also it's an antidote, I guess, to the sort of the tech world we live in as well, though. And I think it just adds a sort of more personal sort of feel to the actual products as well. And of course the other thing has been sort of a big industry in alternative film posters as well, because obviously you get a sort of classic film from the 80s, and there are any number of posters that were produced at the time, but sometimes people just like to see something which has is sort of out of that period culturally, yet harkens back to it, and sort of straddles two worlds, if you like. And just actually reimagining how a poster might have been had it been created by somebody now, with hindsight, if you like. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that recently as well, and that's been good fun, because I'm getting to do posters for films I've never ever been approached to a poster for at the time, and so it's kind of, there's an element of revenge as well.
I imagine when you got that call from Arrow Films to say like they want a proper illustration movie poster again, you're just like, yes, the day I've been waiting for. Computers out the window, let's go, baby.
Well, I kind of thought it'd be a one-off thing, really, and fortunately it wasn't, because I think they came back quite quickly for another one. And I think, like any company would, they responded to customer comments, and which fortunately seem to be quite positive. So I think I think they identified that as a way to go, and I think they're already using a couple of illustrators anyway. Though I think Rick Melton was doing work with them already, and things about Rick's work. I mean, we're completely different artists, but he uses he actually uses oil paint, which is made me almost fall off my chair. I mean, people fall over when they hear that I'm actually using paint. But for somebody to be using oil paint for commercial work is astonishing, really, because quite simply, oil just takes time to dry, and if you're doing commercial work, you have to work to a deadline, and you don't have time to sit around waiting for paint to dry. As simple as that. I mean, gouache just dries instantly, so it's ready to go and easy to work with. But I wouldn't even dream about trying to work in oil paint.
I'll say this. Sorry, Jane.
No, you can.
I was just curious to know how you have kept going for so long with how much technology has developed over the years. Because obviously, artists now, everyone does everything online, don't they? Like you say, everyone uses Paint or Photoshop or whatever. So it's amazing that Arrow Films went, actually, we want to stick to traditional. Could you mind just and we'll just keep you going until the end of time? I suppose it's fantastic to hear.
Well, there's a lot of people doing what I do, but they're doing it digitally, but it looks like painted work, and that's the way they prefer to work. And I don't blame them, because I mean, a paint could be quite, it's a messy business, and it's there's a lot of constantly you're changing your water all the time. You have to clean the palette all the time. It's a thing, but even if it's digital work, it's still it's just another medium. Like gouache is to oil paint. It's digital. It's just another form, and it's not something I feel the need to do, because I've honed my skills in this one particular medium, and I don't see any need to change that at all, because this gives me everything I need to do. And I feel that I'd be limited doing things digitally. And I do know from some digital artists that it takes them longer to do their work digitally than it would do in paint. And to me, that just seems a bit absurd, really. But that's the way they like to work, and that's fine. But I just don't think I would actually be able to survive doing stuff digitally if it took longer, because the only way I can survive as an illustrator is to deliver work fast, so that I can get on to the next job. So I've got a list of about 20 jobs at the moment, which I don't know how I'm going to get through them. I will, but for instance, I've got 2 deadlines next Wednesday, and one job I've just barely begun. The other one I only got go ahead this afternoon, and so I'll be working this weekend trying to get those 2 done in tandem with each other. But they're both jobs that I wasn't going to turn down, because sometimes even when you think you're busy, and somebody comes along with a job and says, are you interested in doing this? You think, well, it's my favourite band. Why would I not be interested in doing work for this? And then there's another job. It's like, well, it's my favourite TV series. Why would I not be wanting to do work for this? Of course you will. And then you realise that, of course, the deadline is, just a few days away. But actually, you take on both jobs at the same time as you're doing the other work you're doing already. But that's kind of what you do, really. Because the other thing is that every job you do is going to be seen somewhere, and and in a way, it's kind of, I guess it's publicity, isn't it? I suppose, but it's attaching yourself to key cultural participants, if you like. Is good in many ways. I mean, to have your name attached to particular projects, it has a lot of kudos, which it's you can't garner any other way, really. So I find it very hard to turn work down, because whatever it is, there's going to be something of interest in there, and also it's going to have some sort of audience out there as well. And actually, if you can spread the audience quite wide as well into different areas, then that's got to be good, I think. And it also keeps me on my toes as well, because it's easy to get complacent in just thinking that, well, I can just do what I like, which is a type of horror thing. I could just endlessly do Hammer posters. I'd love to do that, but I wouldn't be earning any money if I did that. So it's a good discipline to work in as many different areas as you can.
Just wondering, like, where do you get your inspiration from these things? Like, will you watch the movie before you start doing the poster, or listen to the band before you start doing the album, or is it literally just you get an idea in your head?
Funny enough, with a lot of record cover work I've done, I've actually not heard the band at all. I just had discussions with the members, and you take your inspiration more. They usually come to you for a reason anyway, though, which is they like your work, so they already indicate what kind of thing they want. So you don't really, the music's superfluous. As far as I'm concerned, it's all about the imagery that the music might conjure up, and talking. If they're good at communicating, they will give you that anyway, though. With films, it'd be daft trying to do something without seeing the film. I mean, I have done that before, simply because back in the 80s, for instance, they would say, we haven't got a copy of the film, but here's a couple of stills. And this is more or less what happens. So you go off and do your sleeve on the basis of that, and of course, generally speaking, it's completely off on a tangent and nothing to do with film at all. But if somebody picks the video off the shelf and rents it, and the client's happy, I guess. But for me, that's just it's fraud, isn't it? But mostly yes, I will watch a film, and what's important for me is to just find those little moments which tell the whole story, if you like. And it's always about expressions. I love doing portraiture. And but getting the right expression, which can be just glimpsed in a sort of microsecond within a scene, and I keep going back and forth trying to just find that one little moment and do a screen grab of that, because that's the only moment which is going to work for what you want. And other than that, when it's a reissue of something older, a classic 80s film, shall we say, then the job is to look for a new way of viewing the film, finding new things within the film that nobody's really considered that important before. But in fact, when I look at the film, I think, well, actually, suddenly this actually is really key to what makes the film work. And if you can find those little moments or images and then bring those to the fore, it's just a new way of looking at the film, I find. And also just helping other people find a fresh perspective on something they thought they knew well, but then suddenly, you're saying, well, actually, it's a slightly different film to what you thought it was. So, for me, that's a great thing to do. I mean, it's a great challenge, and I find that probably the most exciting part of what I do.
I love that. That's amazing. I love it. So we could talk about the different projects you've been involved in all day, but one thing I did want to make sure we talk about is your book, Hung, Drawn and Executed. For those unaware...
It's a title, isn't it?
It's a great title. But for those unaware...
The next one's even worse, I can assure you.
Oh, I've seen the next one, and it's brilliant. But for those unaware, what's the book about? What can people find inside?
Well, essentially, it's a collection of work. But aside from that, it's also... I thought it was very important to have a little section which showed the working process, because I think there's no point keeping any mystery about what I do. It's some people could be quite precious about their working methods, but it's what I do is commercial. It's I'm a commercial artist, and you get from A to B as fast as possible, and the ways you do that are fairly easy. But it's I guess the thing is, what I can't give people is what goes on in my head in terms of when you're making your marks on the paper, all those little thought processes you go through, which happen in a microsecond, as you're doing the work. A lot of it is spontaneous. And that's something that people have to find for themselves. But the basic framework of an illustration, how that's put together, is something that it's quite easy to explain. It's all about looking at the film, finding those moments, as I said, identifying the right moment of an expression on the face. Excuse me, getting over a cold here still. I have to keep sipping water. But and it's also about composition. It's how you create hierarchy within your images. That you build your picture around a focal point, and then you're also trying to tell a story with all those images you're using. There'll be some sort of perhaps backdrop, which will be a setting, which will give a clue to what's going on or where it's going on, if you like. You'll have central character, but then how they react to another character, some sort of nuance that's going on, which isn't necessarily obvious, but it creates some intrigue, and then having some other element which perhaps looks quite random, but it's actually an important part of the narrative. And I think it's about building clues, if you like, creating a puzzle in an image, and actually just knowing that you've got the right parts to make it work. The whole process thing. I mean, there's a technical side to things. Obviously, the putting down a wash of paint and then blocking out dark colours and the basic shapes, all that stuff. And that's all kind of fairly standard technical stuff. So, but I hope within the text that I write with it, and also in the little descriptions of each of the pieces of work that are shown in the book, that there's a bit of thought process going on, which also sometimes has a bit of colour theory as well, as to why I picked those particular colours. And sometimes it's playing against expectation, and sometimes it's actually heightening expectation, if you like. So for me, it's important to have a little description with each piece of work, which just shows that it doesn't just happen in out of the ether. There is a reason for everything to be as it is. And sometimes it is as simple as it's what the client asks for, and you've got no choice but to do what they want. But see, everything has a commercial purpose, so I can't indulge myself, in the work I do. But in terms of inspiration, I mean, ideas come from the actual films, obviously. But I have realised over the last few years, especially that because the work's constantly going around in my head, and you have to remove yourself from it, all the time, because otherwise you just get bogged down, and it starts to get stale. So I find that most of the ideas tend to come in those waking moments, just before I literally wake up in the morning. It's when you're half dreaming, and that's when your mind's quite relaxed, but also full of images at the same time. But it's just weird how that happens, though, that so many jobs I've done over the last few years have just literally, I've reproduced what has appeared in my head in that funny little waking moment, and I can't really describe how that happens, but there's an urgency to kind of just sketch that down quite quickly before I lose it. But it is amazing that you get a complete image in your head of how the finished painting will look, and then it's up to you to just try to recreate that as closely as possible. And it just generally seems to work, though.
It's phenomenal. I love it.
It's not at all creepy.
I love that idea.
No drugs are involved either.
I just love that idea of you waking up, having a stretch, going, idea.
Oh, literally, it does happen like that. Yeah. So not so much the stretching, maybe just lying there.
So you mentioned you've got a new book on the way, and I don't care what you say, Graham. The name is amazing. A Nightmare on One Sheet. That is fantastic.
I thought it was as well, and then I thought about it. I thought, no, maybe it's a bit silly, but actually, I'm going to stick with it because I think it actually is. It's a terrible pun, but I think it works. So, well, mostly because of the pandemic, really. But that last book came out in 2019, so most of that work in there would have been, I think, probably the last piece would have been about 6 months before the book actually came to print, because of the way nature of putting a book together, etc., etc. But so I realised there's a huge body of work, especially over 2020, 21. So it's easy to fill a new book with probably I don't know how many paintings will go in there, but easily there will be, by the time the book is going to print, another 200 pieces, I would have thought. But I'll whittle it down to about 150, I would have thought, and then I'll do another stage by stage process as well, because people seem to really like that section. And also with regards to some of the work in there, I thought it was important to get some interesting writing from a few other people outside. So, for instance, in the last book, I was lucky to get cover a few bases there with the old Universal Horror connections with Sarah Karloff, Boris Karloff's daughter, wrote a little piece, and Vincent Price's daughter Victoria wrote a piece. Dacre Stoker, the great grandnephew of Bram Stoker, wrote a little piece for me. Jeffrey Coombs, Reanimator himself, wrote a little piece for me. So this time I've got Rob Zombie, who's already delivered an intro.
Wow.
I've got to keep pushing and pushing, but I'm going to pummel Dave Vanian from the Damned until the point he does actually provide his intro as well. Greg Nicotero has agreed, but I've got to pummel him a bit because he's very busy. And then Sam Irvin as well has agreed to do a piece as well for me, though. So it's good to get different perspectives of people who are in the industry and who have been commissioning me as well, though. So Greg Nicotero's collected a number of pieces, original pieces of artwork of mine, and we worked together on a couple of jobs. And Rob Zombie's the connection with Waxwork Records as well. So it's a series which is just actually titled Rob Zombie Presents. And Dave Vanian, I've worked with the Damned on a couple of projects. In fact, I'm working with them right now. One of those jobs is need next Wednesday, in fact. Damn it. And then Sam Irvin, particularly because he's a huge poster collector and loves all the classic horror films, as I do as well. Has a big love of Hammer and Universal. And I've just recently finished a piece which has a particular resonance for him because it's one of his favourite films. So he's going to reproduce that in the book he's working on right now, and has very kindly bought the artwork from me as well. So he'll be a proud owner of that. So it's good to have him included in the book as well. But also he's just got this unique perspective of being a director, producer, and somebody who's interviewed for magazines over the years a lot of horror legends as well. So he has this great insight into horror, and particularly the sort of nostalgic stuff that I like working on as well. So Hammer titles and Universal monsters, and inevitably Vincent Price, who I've probably painted more than anybody else, except for Reece Shearsmith. I think I've painted more Reece Shearsmith portraits than Vincent Price, simply because Reece, of course, has been so many different characters in League of Gentlemen and Inside Number 9. That it's just it's just I should actually sit down and just like count the number of times I've painted him.
When you just said then about Rob Zombie, I swear I saw him post something earlier on about a vinyl box set with the soundtracks to House of Thousand Corpses, Devil Rejects, and the one after which the name has escaped me, Free from Hell. Is that what you're referring to? No, okay.
No, nothing I've worked on so far has been announced yet. I think the first title's due in December, I was told. But the other ones, I think February, April, May, June, I think they. One of them does involve a pop-up though, which is good fun to do. People don't do pop-ups enough, I find.
It seems to be like a lost art there. That needs to come back.
It is, yeah.
So before we start wrapping up, because we know we've been here for quite a while now, and I've absolutely loved talking to you, Graham. We've had some amazing stories, but with all the amazing work,
Have there been enough laughs though?
Pardon, sorry?
Have there been enough laughs though?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. I'll try to squeeze a few more in.
So before we start wrapping up, though, with all the amazing work you've done over the years, if you were to point out a couple of the artworks that you're extra proud of, that you go, this is what I do, what would they be?
Well, definitely Freddy's Revenge, I think. Only the portrait version, the quad version is terrible, but it was done in a rush, and I don't even think about that nowadays. But yeah, Freddy's Revenge, and there have been some, but I don't know. The thing is, I'm always kind of looking ahead at the next job, so I find it hard to look back sometimes, though, because where my mind is, it's literally on the 10th job ahead already, though. So what I'm hoping is within that work will be the new best piece. Actually, there is one piece actually I did for one of the Rob Zombie projects. I think actually is one of the most pleasing for me pieces that I've done. And usually I hate the work I've as soon as I paint it, I hate it. But yeah, there's one piece in particular which I can't tell you about, but it'll be there for next year at some point in the springtime, I guess, though. But you'll probably see it, and you can probably tell that I really enjoy painting it. So yeah, but I can't tell you. No.
All good.
I love it. That was a great little plug for the future. That was really sneaky. You want to see my best work? Then watch this space, people.
Exactly. And meanwhile, yeah. So the with the new book, hopefully, I think the publisher's putting it together. Well, starting work on it this in December. I think probably I can carry on delivering work for it up until I'm guessing around April time, and then there'll be a cut-off point. So, in my head, ideally, I'd like the new book to be out in the summer. I think. I mean, you think, well, keep it for Halloween, but I think no, it's just stupid because if the book's ready, just get it out there, really. So yeah, hopefully it'll be. I think it'll be a better collection of work than the last one, which is all about really demonstrating some sort of progression, I guess, though, because it's very important to try, improve on what you do as you go along. And I think it's a much stronger body of work. And I think there's more variety in there as well, and some good fun stuff as well. And I think just those few little introductions will just nudge it along for our friends in the States, if you like, there, because I mean Rob Zombie's a big name there, of course, in horror. Probably I don't know how his name works so much here, but I think that. I think Greg Nicotero is pretty much, revered across the board, and certainly for us Brits, I think the Damned are a quintessentially British band with their roots, right where I was at art college, really 1976 when they formed. So in fact, they are the music of my work, if you like, in many ways, and so I they have a very special place in my heart, and actually at this moment in time, I'm able to give a little bit of that back to them. So hopefully that's a relationship which will continue into the future as well, as long as we can live long enough. We're all getting on a bit.
Beautiful, I love it. I saw the Damned touring next year as well. My father-in-law's bought tickets.
Yes, I've got my ticket already. Amazing venue. Well, Alexandra Palace, most people know for the larger hall in there, but there's a beautiful Victorian theatre within the building, which was recently restored. But it's actually, they restored it to the point where they've not rendered up the walls again. So it's like bare brickwork. So it looks really grungy and Victorian. It's perfect for the Damned. And if you know Wilton's Music Hall, it's very much like that as well. this old kind of almost like musical kind of theatre, but then you have this kind of, kind of slightly rotting kind of look to it as well, though, which is fantastic. So it's going to be a great gig, I think.
Incredible. Mr. Stevens, do you have any more questions for our wonderful guest?
Yes, one more, Mr. Humphreys. When you first began wanting to pursue a career in art, illustration, graphic, everything you were doing at college, etc., did you ever think that this is where your life would have got to today?
Well, I probably would have hoped to have had more money. I'm still paying a bloody mortgage, but no, it's actually, I think I achieved what I wanted to achieve in my kiddies' view of the world. By the time I was 22, probably by doing the Evil Dead poster, I think probably that was the limit of my ambition at the time. So I think the rest of it's just been a bonus, really, though. But so no, I had no idea. Of course, I didn't. And but I think I've been very, very fortunate through the work I've had and found, and also to have lived through the particular eras that I did. That I think growing up in being a teenager in the late 70s, and then catching the whole punk rock thing was just quite an amazing cultural thing, and it really just shaped my life. And it's and that led directly into the horror stuff, because I've always argued that punk rock and horror are kind of kith and kin. I mean, a classic example, The Damned. I mean, where does that name come from? Season of Banshees, Cry of the Banshee, they admit that's where they got their name from. And you kind of the Stranglers, you see all the parallels between horror and punk rock, and the sort of exuberance in the imagery, and the sort of raw textures, and the really bright colours. It's all kind of there. So and then the 80s, of course, it's there are some horrible, terrible things in the 80s and ghastly music, but there was also fantastic music as well, though, and all the stuff that I liked. The 80s gave us the whole goth thing. It actually brought horror into the mainstream in music, and probably helped gear along some of the filmic stuff that happened at the time as well, though. Certainly, it didn't do Sam Raimi any harm. His fans over here, and that seems to have continued. And I think that there's still, music. There's still music out there which is inspired by horror, and of course, there's a real appreciation of great soundtrack work, though, which wouldn't have been around, I don't think, in the 80s, for instance. I think that we go and see John Carpenter perform gigs. That was unheard of, really. And of course, Fabio Frizzi, of course, had to postpone his tour this year, but will be performing next year. But hearing the Zombie Flesh Eater soundtrack live is just phenomenal, really. That's something that wasn't available for us at the time. So everything is good, apart from the Conservative Party and Brexit and
oh god, don't get me started.
Everything else, the war in the UK, but everything else is fine, mate. Keep looking at this thing.
But just adding on to what you say there, though, you're absolutely right that the alternative subculture and horror and with music, it all does blend together so beautifully well. Like you say, Rob Zombie makes metal music, makes horror movies. There's the guest we had on last week on our show, Wednesday 13. He's known for doing a lot of his songs based on horror movies. He's got songs all about Halloween and American Werewolf in London and stuff like that. It all goes together quite beautifully.
It does, yes. It's a lovely world.
And we love it, and we love being part of it. Graham, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for just sitting down and talking to us. We've absolutely loved this.
I've enjoyed it. It's been fantastic. And I could talk for hours more, but I know you have, we've all got bedtimes and things like that.
Before we let you go, though, have you got any plugs, social medias, any websites you want people to check out?
Yeah, well, I shamefully have not updated my website for a year, but I've got to sit down and do it because there's a huge amount of work that needs to go on there. But there is GrahamHumphreys.com, and I am on Twitter and Instagram. I can't remember what the names are, but you can find me. But I use Instagram and Twitter purely just to show new pieces of work. for all the other, if you want politics and stuff and all around, you'll find those on Facebook, but also post work on Facebook as well. But so Facebook is more like a sort of daily blog thing, I guess, if you like, and the state of the world. Whereas Instagram and Twitter is purely just the work. And then the website is really just an archive of that work. Once I've updated it, and then there'll be some new work as well, though. So the website is where I was probably about a year and a half ago. But yeah, and then of course, as each new piece of work is announced, that will be put up there as well, though. So yeah, it's probably about 60 pieces of work which I can't show anybody yet. Which I've been done and dusted. But they'll be out there sooner or later. And hopefully most of them have been in the book as well, though.
Phenomenal. We can't wait to read it. Like I said, Graham, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this with us and sitting down with us.
My pleasure.
Absolutely loved it.
It's been great. Thank you. And I love to whore myself.
That's what these things are for, though. That's what we do. Tell us all about yourself, please. We love it. We love it. It's absolutely
publicity, yeah.
Thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful evening. It's been absolutely incredible. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much.
It's not dull for anybody to listen to, but
no, I don't be ridiculous.
Thank you.
It's all good.
It's been a pleasure. It really has, though. And we should do it again.
Absolutely. Yes. We'll stay in touch. Don't worry. You ain't get rid of us now. But look after yourself. Have a great evening, and we'll speak soon, sir.
Thank you. Look after yourself.
Take care. Cheers, Graham. See you later, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye. Fantastic conversation. Just like you said, the knowledge he passes on and the passion. It's love it. Love it.
Good. It's a good show. It's a good interview. We hope that you enjoyed it. Graham, we so thank you for that you came on. We love talking to you, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. And we really hope that you all enjoy listening to it as much as we did recording it.
Monsieur Stevens.
Oui, monsieur.
It is audience participation time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to participate in Jamie's participation challenge. You know what always makes us feel good? A lovely little compliment. But this week we ask you, what's the weirdest compliment you have ever received? What say you, Mr. Stevens?
I can't say I've ever. I can't remember, if I'm honest.
I'll be honest, I struggle to think of one.
It doesn't happen often. No, I literally can't think of a thing.
Yeah, I struggled with this one. I couldn't think of anything. The only thing I could think of was a little bit rude. I don't want to share that one. So, yeah, I couldn't think of anything. I was a little bit, no, couldn't think of anything.
God, your penis is girthy.
If only.
Thanks.
No. It's not got much length, but Jesus. No,
looks like a fat sausage.
1 inch long, 5 inch wide. Anyway, I'm going to.
That'd be awful. Wouldn't it?
Right. Try getting that into your boxes. Anyway, I keep saying anyway. A lot of the answers we had to this, they weren't weird. They were downright fucking mean. And if you say some of the things, I'm not going to read them out because they're just insulting, quite frankly. If you say some of these backwards ass insult compliments to people, you're a dick. Let's just put it that way. I'm just going to get that out there right now. Because a lot of them are like saying people are fat or ugly. And I'm like, no, not having that. Not having that in my listeners. Not having that in my friends. Fuck off. Bastards. Be nice to people. Anyway. Rob Dyke says, "You have crazy eyes," said a patient in a mental health ward.
Brilliant. I don't think you can really take what they say on the chat. I don't think you really take what they say for granted, can you? It's like, all right, mate.
Yeah.
Just remember where you are.
Amy Sampson. When I was a bus driver, someone said to me, "You drive a bus better than most men." I didn't know whether to be complimented or offended by the underlying sexism in this comment.
I mean, is this guy sat on the bus rating bus drivers' way of driving? It's like, sorry, John, I gave you a 5. You turn those corners pretty damn sharp. Amy, fucking get a 9. Jesus Christ. I mean, I get to look at you as well.
Most people just get off the bus and say, "Choose drive." This guy's giving that fucking ratings.
I know. 2 stars.
Wesley Pike. Someone once said they would date me if I was taller. What? So
how tall is he?
It's not that short. A bit shorter than me. It's like 5'5", I think. Not short.
Okay.
But I just like that. You're attractive. You're a nice guy. Everything ticks the boxes. But just a couple of inches taller, and then maybe.
Let's get you that torture rack.
Paul Bamford. You've got a decent amount of hair for someone your age.
Oh, wow. Depends where she was looking.
Nina Hewitts. Nina Hewitson, your boobs are bigger than my head.
Yeah.
It's a weird compliment.
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah.
So, these two really made me laugh. Zara Bullimore, I was terrified of you, but you're actually quite lovely.
Okay.
Leanne Victoria, if you were 6 foot tall and a man, you'd be my type. Said by a man.
Okay.
Mira Morningstar, only you could pull that off.
Wow. I'm assuming them in the pink hair, I'm guessing.
I don't know. You just give context, but I love that. It's like, is that a backwards insult or is that a compliment? I don't really know on that one. This will make me laugh. Chris Fogg, you know what? I'm shocked. You're actually quite good at singing. I thought you were going to be shit. Cheers, mate. I mean, it's been my job for 15 years, so you know.
Brilliant.
There. Apologies. Rachel Ann, you're beautiful. I wish you were my baby's father. An aggressive woman once said to me in a pub toilet queue in Dublin.
Gotta love the Irish. Hey, Baz.
Phil Andre, the legend behind Motley Brews. Your tea doesn't taste like piss.
Pretty good job. He's got a whole fucking company in it.
Jasmine LaAmy, you look like you could ruin my life, and I'm into that.
That was hilarious. That was.
How would you even take that? It's fucking brilliant. Scooty Hoskins, you look pretty in the dark. Still married her. Jade Harris, this one made me chuckle and was quite weird. Your eyes are too big for your head, but you're still pretty. What?
No idea.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. It's only Mally Malpass. Just this week, someone typed, I find you oddly attractive on one of my TikTok lives. Did you find someone oddly attractive? Also, a local heroin addict once said, mate, you're a nutcase being into that shouty music and having long hair. Fair play. I was like, dude, how am I the nutcase in this scenario? You're a heroin dealer.
Oh.
Two more. This one, I genuinely don't know what I would say in this situation. Lisa Murphy, you've got beautiful eyes. Do you think they'd suit me?
What? Sorry, bear with me a sec, David. Hannibal's just walked in.
What context did that? What?
Did he lick his lips afterwards?
They're beautiful eyes.
Yeah, he's poured his out. Yeah. I can't see with these fucking bastards. Give me yours.
And last but not least, it's Ryan Williams.
Yeah, the boy's back.
I actually received a couple of interesting compliments in the last few weeks. The first was some lady who apparently doesn't like people with glasses. She said you would actually be quite handsome if you didn't have her glasses on.
Okay. I mean, I won't much see love, but yeah.
A glass is that much of a deal breaker?
Is it because it means that he then can't see her? So he's just happy with that?
Maybe that's what it is, yeah. The second was when I was standing in line for a haunted house. A guy who looked like a zombie came up to me inches from my face and said I looked like Mark Ruffalo. And then this was right after I had saw another actor dressed up as an insane doctor give someone in the line a soda. So I was very confused as to what was supposed to be scary about this haunted house, because so far I saw nothing but niceness. So maybe they're trying to scare you with kindness.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to start calling Ryan Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy?
The boy's back in town.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
That's not your nickname, Ryan. You're now Thin Lizzy from now on.
I like that a lot.
Great answer again. And everybody, Mally, I get excited every fucking week for Mally Malpass's answer. Every week without fail.
If I see Mally Malpass or Ryan Williams, you know we're in for a good week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they're great answers from everyone once again. And thank you to everybody for participating in Jamie's challenge. We do really massively appreciate it. But if you enjoy Jamie's participation challenge, Tom's journal, Callum's Treachings, the interview, and all the wanky bollocks of shit fuck we talk at the beginning of the show, you enjoy the other 65 editions of the Chronicles of Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from. 65 of them. That's a lot to keep up with, guys. That's a lot. And that's not including everything on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube at the Chronicles of Podcast. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified whenever a video gets released, and comment. I also meant to say before, all our podcasts are available on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from. Also on the YouTube are our hashtag WBW Way Back Wednesdays, which we've stopped doing because they're all out now, which are also available. So you've got 50 of those to go with 65 editions of the show. That's a lot. It's so mental every time I look through, Jamie, when I go, this is like a whole big fucking diary. Like, it's amazing because
lots of people.
Not including the interviews, the shows, and the Way Back Wednesdays, you've also got the Bloodstock live interviews as well, and the Bloodstock vlog, which is being smashed to pieces. Can I just say as well, before I continue, thank you to all 231 of you that have watched the Wednesday 13 interview so far. I adore you massively. Thank you so much. And thank you to the new 4 subscribers we've got as well. Incredible. It's making our fucking day. That's why we do it. We love doing this for you guys. So please keep giving that love back. We love it so much. You can also, however, find us on Facebook at the Chronicles of Podcast. Hit the like button, share it absolutely everywhere, and comment, put some GIFs in, put some memes in, do whatever the fuck you like. I don't care. Get on that page and get your mates to like it as well. Jamie, thinking about it, where else could you find us?
Looking at Graham Humphreys' artwork and go, it's a bit fucking good, isn't it?
Literally in that accent, and also on the Twitter at TCO Pod. And while I think about it, Jamie, I've forgotten again, where else could you find us?
Looking at other people's eyes and wondering if they would suit us.
Well, I mean, that's probably what you do, but we can also find us on the Instagram.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
At TCO Pod. You can also find us on TikTok at TCO Pod. Jamie posts some absolutely wonderful shit on there. Check out the Chesney Hawks video just for his celebratory reaction. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Ever.
I've been laxing a little bit the past 2 weeks. I do apologise. We'll get some more stuff up there.
It's all good. Apart from when your chair broke. Get down to patreon.com to find out and watch that glorious little video. You can also come on down, right down that Electric Avenue with Eddie Grant to our wonderfully, beautifully, sexily, deliciously, incredibly, gorgeously, wonderful little website at www.thechroniclesofpodcast.com. All of our shows are on there. Everything about us. You can find out all about the history of us, and all the show is on there. And all of our wonderful affiliations and sponsors are on there as well. The Chronicles of Podcast. Download us, review us, share us, rate us, subscribe to us. Tell all of your friends about us. Allow us into your ears. But most importantly, who did let the dogs out? Who? Can someone tell me who actually let them out? Did you let them out? Because characters are allergic to them, for fuck's sake. Like, why do you have to keep letting them out all the time? Especially Bruno. He's an absolute bastard to get back in. The big boxing fucker that he is. Jesus Christ. Just stop letting the dogs out. The barhand men keep fucking asking me every day. I'm sick of them asking that question. I'm so bored of answering it. Jesus Christ. It's probably them fuckers. They forgot they let the dogs out. Jesus Christ. So stop asking me, all right?
Do you reckon the members of the Baha men get asked that question like every day of their fucking life?
Probably.
If we ever get the barman in this show, we are not allowed to ask them that question. I really want to listen to that song, man.
In the words of Liv Morgan, watch me.
He's made it a personal challenge. Before we get out of here, let's say a couple of thank yous to our wonderful friends. First off, we have the incredible singer-songwriter Matt Roberts. Every single piece of music you hear on this show is supplied by Matt. These are fantastic songs. You only hear some instrumentals on this show, but go to Spotify, search for Matt Roberts, and you'll find some amazing feature full-length songs, including his latest single, Perfectly Blue. We cannot recommend it enough. It is fantastic. That intro is wow, superb, as I like to say. And of course, we have to say thank you to our wonderful friend Braden Barry with his Stay Cozy clothing. Just look at that hoodie that Tom is wearing right there. It's absolutely beautiful. Head on over to the website right now because it's a clearance, ladies and gentlemen. Everything must go. Let's get rid of all those previous lines so we can get ready for all the brand new lines coming out very soon. We cannot wait to see them. We cannot wait for you to see them, including the Sophie Lancaster Foundation collaborative t-shirt. 50% of the profits of that shirt go straight to them. An absolutely wonderful thing that these guys are doing for these guys, and it means the absolute world to us. Add one of everything that you love to your basket. Head on over to the checkout and enter The Chronicles to get 10% off your order. And last but not least, we say a massive thank you and a shout out to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, stamping out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. Last week was Make a Noise last Saturday. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us. I was posting a galore on the old social medias, and it means the absolute world for people to come along and hear Sophie's story, the little things that come alongside of it, for sharing those posts out there into the world, because Sophie's story is just as prevalent today as it was back then when it happened. So please help them. Go to sophielancasterfoundation.com, see what you can do to help. Share that questionnaire out there. That is the thing that we are pushing at the moment. Let's get that questionnaire out there. If you have been affected, fill it in. If you know someone that's been affected, get them to fill it in. As much information as we can get on filled in there as physically possible, the more evidence we can take to the courts to go, look, alternative subculture is a hate crime. Now, do something about it. And of course, we mentioned earlier on the Patreon. I added a brand new tier to the Patreon. It's exactly the same as the other one, but it's double in price, and it's called Sophie's Angel, because what happens, that extra money, that double, is going to go straight to them. So you get the same stuff, but you get to support these guys at the same time. And I think that's a fantastic idea, and I think you should all go and join our Patreon. So go do it now, patreon.com/TCO pod. And of course, last but not least, thanks to this handsome bugger over there for just being so handsome.
Stop it, you. We have got some very special events coming up in the next couple of weeks. Jamie will be heading to a live show and conducting an interview there, as I am heading over to Ireland in a couple of weeks and will be conducting a show over there too. So you're going to get the Chronicles of Podcast, but separately to go on the old YouTube. So look out for those. They're going to be unbelievable. Graham, thank you so much for coming on the show, for chatting to us. We absolutely loved it. We'll have you on once again soon. We look forward to seeing what comes in the future. And Jamie, it's been another great episode.
It has been another fantastic episode.
Wonderful. And I suppose we should get moving. As for this week, guys, we're going to see you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.